Okay. What up? All right, let's get all of our peoples up in here. Just hang tight. What up? Present, Your Honor. All right, just hang tight. Yo, son, what it do? Oh, that was awfully close to that end broadcast button. All right, hang on. Okay, compose. Okay, I just got to get the link out to my peeps. Y'all early birds, just hang tight. Boop beep. Beep bop boop beep boop boop. All right. Yeah, guys, while we're doing this, hit the thumbs up. Nice scat skills. Nice scat skills. Scat. Oh, like beatbox? Is that another term for beatbox? Oh, dude, y'all, if you really look into me deeply in the internet, you may find a couple albums. All right, hold up. Scatman. Okay, WTF. Where's my triple layer mask? I usually put fuck. Bro, come on. Oh my goodness. Guys, hold on. I gotta get logged in here. It's not showing me my shit. Usually I wear a mask on my face, and then I wear one around each ear, and then I wear one around the forehead, and then glasses, just to make sure that I am as safe as possible. But that's only if I'm in the car by myself. If I'm out and about, I got the whole rig, hazmat suit, the big clear glass that dentists drill teeth with. All right, hold up. Okay. All right, just got word from the man himself. We are live now. All right. I got everything sent out. You're right. I should actually be wearing a mask to protect my viewers. I don't have a slave mask handy. I could probably make one. Oh, there you go. So here's what I want to talk about with you guys today. Just kidding. It's like 38 and raining hard at in the southeast 10. Memphis 10. Not cold enough for snow. It never shows here. That sucks. Stephen Crumley, that sucks. All right. Brown paper bag, maybe. Yeah, that could work. There's a guy that's in our community here that actually gets boxes, like medium-sized boxes, and he cuts out eye holes and mouth holes and puts them over his head and like tightens them, like tapes them down, and then he writes messages on them like the new normal. It's hilarious. Every day. Every day. All right, I gotta keep this down. What'd y'all think? Oh man, I had my little one on here earlier. Jurgen Smershly.
Hello.
Is that an eye patch or a shadow?
Can you hear me?
There you go.
You got sound or what?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Can you not hear me saying that I can hear you?
Not until you just said it.
I missed you. All right. We got the lighter of the bunch.
Hi, everybody.
And we got the Sigmer.
What's up, guys?
All right, Sigmer. We got some ground rules, okay?
What's the ground rules?
No flashing thousands of images in front of people's face while they're jerking off to our stream, okay?
All right, I'll try to keep it light then.
You had some people saying that they had to leave the stream because they had a what's that shit called?
Epileptic seizures.
Yeah, they had a emphysema. What's that shit called? You know.
Well, I'll try to like pick something simple and then stick with it, like something like this. I don't know.
Yeah, pick something fucking ridiculous and just leave it. I mean,
That's the cutest thing ever.
I'm not gonna lie, it was entertaining.
All right.
The problem is that it was entertaining. Okay, so guys, as you saw here on the shit, and we're discussing the truth about blackouts, and as you know, with Senior Durgan Smershly, we're all about truth. And yeah, go ahead, lay it on us, man.
All right. So the first thing that's most significant. This is two kind of separate, unrelated things, seemingly. But the in terms of the blackouts. So ironically, I kind of talked about what it would look like to have your power cut purposefully, maliciously, and how that would look, and how you would have to have a narrative to pull it off, right? Because your enslavement will never come by telling you that you're enslaved, right? It's never going to happen. You got to have a parallel narrative, right? So the way that works is if you want to control someone, you provide something to them first, and you take away their ability to have it. Then once you provide it to them, you seed it at first, so they become accustomed to it and they forget about how they should provide it for themselves. After you have total control over the valve, then all that you have to do is turn it on and off, because it's a need. And electricity at this point is a need. And the reason why is because everybody is using resistance heating through, electrical resistance. So your heat is necessary now because your electricity is necessary now because your heat is bound into your electricity, right? And so I kind of talked theoretically about like what that would look like, and I don't remember what I said, but it was probably something like everybody's using too much power. We have to start cutting power, yada, yada, save the whales, something like that. Well, that has started. And it has started with the first really cold storm that has come to the center of the United States, which is ongoing right now. The first time I heard about this was actually today from an oil pipeliner that is working in Minnesota and Texas, and they actually got called off, and so they're like on leave with pay because of the cold conditions. And so while they're home, they were telling me that there are blackouts that are going on in the country right now. But he went on to say that these blackouts are rotational. So they're not a matter of like power lines going out or exceeding capacity of power production or exceeding the capacity of transmission, like the lines are clogged. This is a pre-planned rotational program to start cutting power. Within 4 hours after that, I got a call from my local electrical co-op, which is entirely unrelated to anything that this man was talking about, with an automated message that said to expect periodic blackouts. And the stuff that this man was referring to is mostly in Texas. I'm in Missouri. The electric co-op here is very small, but they are under the control. They are under the control of the greater force here, and so they have no ability to not go with the program, right? And because everybody has been so inundated and terrified and pulled apart to where they don't ask questions anymore and they just do, there is nobody watching the watchers at all. And so this can be pulled off, and it is being pulled off right now. And so there are rotational blackouts right now taking place, probably high north, definitely all the way from Missouri into Kansas down into Texas, probably Oklahoma. Now the call from the electric
14
yeah.
or I was going to say 6 hours ago, New York Times writes utilities in 14 states are told to start rolling blackouts because of storm strains. So 14 states.
Yep. And so this is going to go everywhere and expand, right? And so this is what I'm trying to warn you guys about and why it is necessary, although for someone that's unfamiliar with the topics that I talk about because they're very uncomfortable, and I understand that. The reason that it's important to talk about is because regardless of whether you find it convenient or not to listen to what I'm trying to tell you, you're gonna have to bear the consequence of it. So at first you're gonna have periods where you have no power, right? And then they're gonna become more regular as the years go on. And what's really going on is that you're having your power shut off and turned on like a valve to cause stress and eventually to do Simon Says. Sam I am, right? And this is what's really going on. Now, in the automated message that I got from the electric co-op here, they were reading a script, a pre-written script that no doubt came down from the national level. The White House has also issued some kind of order regarding this rolling blackout deal nationally. So it's christened, and the phone message, it stated that not only did it say to expect blackouts, and so if you weren't paying attention to the message, you would hear blackouts coming, yada yada, business as usual during a snowstorm, right? The snowstorm is not bad, at least not in this region. So I'm driving through, I'm plowing miles and miles and miles of snow. It is what we call fluff. So this is not ice. This is not, here's some, well, you're not gonna be able to see them in the phone. There's some power lines right in front of me. They have no ice on them. That's the only thing that takes out your power. The capacity of your power supply and transmittance is already triple checked to infinitum by a bunch of people that get paid way too much to let you run out of power. So this is not a problem of capacity or transmittance. It is not a problem of natural inclement weather. This is a part of the future, and it is going to become more apparent the further along that we go here. Now, in the phone message recording, it then proceeded, if you stayed on the line and listened, it then discussed how this is something that's going to be rolled out regularly, repetitively for the next few years. And it says this in the local co-op phone message. So if I'm getting it here, then that means that it's pretty widespread because this is nowhere. And so that's the first warning. If you guys want to discuss that.
And they're not passing this information out quite readily, as in from what I'm seeing with news reports, it's basically hitting everybody out of left field, and nobody even knows that they're going to be doing these planned rolling blackouts. Unless like something on your phone that you received. But I mean, still, you know, I get a message on my phone. I'm like, oh, okay, might be rolling blackouts. All right, whatever. And then I skip over.
That's
but
likely what they're counting on. You know,
yeah,
we're conditioned to now receive so much information. It's such a fast pace that we just look at it, glance, and keep moving. And what they want is just to drop a little thing in our, you know, in our RAS, in our little reticular activator that says they're going to be blackouts. So whenever they happen, we're like, oh yeah, I remember hearing something about that. And
Priming.
of course, that, like, you know, comes with a lot of other things, right? Like just stress challenges and anxiety at home. But think of like the grocery store, right? Think of like needs, think of desires, think like the whole dark winter thing. What happens when the power goes out? What do our stores look like? You know, people were fighting over toilet paper, and you know, during the beginning of the coronavirus, like this is seeming like a conditioning technique.
Now, the stress aspect of it is very real, and in an informal sense, that's what people will understand first. But it will become more apparent as time goes on, and you have other reasons besides inclement weather that your power gets shut off. You will come to learn eventually that this is a part of the future of tyranny. And so this is why it's so important to begin right now while you have the remaining time of free commercial resources to start to provide for yourself. Because if you don't do it, if you don't take actions to provide things for yourself, then they're going to be used against you. And then you will find yourself in a situation where power's off and you will need it. And you'll have to do something for the power. And it will be that literal eventually.
Dugan, you see that comment?
I do see it.
A Texas coworker who is currently 5 hours away has no heat, no electricity or water in his $300,000 house, asking me what to do. All hotels are full, zero power.
Yeah. And it's on purpose. It's not an accident. It's not a mistake. Do you know how much infrastructure investment is in Texas, in the state of Texas?
Oh my God, it's crazy.
It's massive. It's the highest. It's. I mean, besides Atlanta, it's the most. You know, there's a lot of industry there, a lot of infrastructure.
You may know more about this than most of us do, and I'm not sure. But I was hearing, I don't know, a few weeks ago, a month ago, when we were starting to hear that blackouts were going to be apparent. Obviously, we called this, you know, months and months ago, but when it was starting to become more public, they had said that water pumps would be out. How are the water pumps controlled by the electricity? Those two systems shouldn't even speak to each other, right?
Well, no, they're so your pumps. I mean, at your distribution pump, like what if you have that? Most like towns, like small towns, if they're not pulling water out of a aquifer or a river or something like that, and then treating it themselves, they're going to be getting long range distribution, and these can be like really long range. You know, normal range would be like 30 miles for like for the water distribution supply, or the water supply, and then your distribution side is where it goes out to all the consumers from the town or whatever, right? at the town, they usually use gravity feed, right? So usually you're going to get like, I think it's, you get somewhere around 2.34 psi per foot of head for water naturally, just from gravity. So if you do, you know, most, when you see water towers, the reason they're using water towers is to supply pressure at distribution without power, so that you can have pressure without power. When you're talking about like actual supply, water supply to a municipality, if they're buying water from the system, then you're going to be talking about lots of pumps. You're going to be talking typically where the water comes in from supply to a tower uses a pump that is electrically controlled.
Okay.
Once it gets into your tower, then it's gravity fed for PSI. But to get in there, they're going to use pumps, and they are, you know, they're electrically operated. There's several different types of pumps. They're all legacy designs, nothing crazy, but they are getting automated at this point with software, right? Where they can be remotely turned off and off, and that's really however much money in grants your city is getting. Like if your city is like, if you drive around feeling like, wow, everything's so great, we have so much money here, you definitely got automation in your water supply.
So basically, with these rolling blackouts, there's going to be quite a few cities and towns where water is going to shut off during these blackout times.
Yeah, eventually. So in the big picture, if we expand out from the issue of power in itself, it's going to be everything that you purchase, right? So everything it's just like the mechanism of your tyranny is accomplished through money, meaning that like your taxation is, you know, through the money that you make. So when you participate in the economy, when you earn money, you develop a delinquency of debt, right? Like in the form of tax or something like that, automatically. Even though the origin of your wealth that you accumulate is you busting your ass and putting out sweat, and then in exchange you get dollars, they're still going to get peeled off, because that process where your sweat gets peeled off is the actual technology of money. So there is no money in your bank account at all. There are no deposits, okay? And that's going to be hard for people to understand, but it's true. I promise you that is the case. There is no money. There is no money at all at this point. It is literally, if you go to the national level banks and you like watch their little Marriott conventions and stuff, you're going to see some lingo where eventually you will figure out that they understand that there is no money. Like money does not exist. It exists for you when you're holding paper money, because you know, it's legally recognized when you walk into a gas station or whatever. But that's when you go and deposit money into a bank account, you don't actually have anything there, right? They're just reissuing it to you when you go to make a withdrawal or when you spend your debit card. It's being
even in my Navy Federal account.
That's right.
Just kidding.
So when in terms of the broader spectrum of this, everything that you buy is compromised, meaning, and what do I mean by compromised? That can mean a lot of things. What I mean is that right now you're getting your power shut off so that you can be primed for the idea and become used to the fact that you're not in control of your power. You know, by inconveniently going through short experiences where your power gets cut and there's not shit you can do about it, and it's the way that it is, that are very short, and then they're just going to get longer and longer and start becoming related to things that have nothing to do with weather. No weather excuse eventually. And so this is going to be a drawn out process. And it when you expand that, it goes into everything. It goes into your food. And this is the reason that all of your agriculture in the United States has been turned into corn and bean, meaning soybean and ethanol corn. And most of that is exported, right? So we import a greater amount of consumption in organic matter than what we produce for ourselves. So we export a lot, right? Like we don't, basically what they did, you used to have farms where we could feed ourselves, and there were their radius of influence of how they took care of people, like the distribution from a plot was fairly short range, and that's a it's not a limitation. It is a matter of logic that it would be that way, because of the way that food keeps and the way that it wouldn't make any sense to expend energy to transport food long distance. So what has happened is that because there is no money, because the money doesn't exist, it can be invented out of thin air, and then it can be invested, and the difference between how much it costs in energy to take your food away and send it 7,000 miles away can be covered by the money that doesn't exist because you accept it. And so that has been covered down on that gap, that expense gap, so that your food can be slowly taken out of your backyard and come from everywhere else. And the reason why is because they don't want it local, because then they can't shut it off. But now that you're getting everything shipped in, it can all be shut off. So your water can be shut off, your power can be shut off, your food can be shut off, your gas can be shut off, your rights can be shut off.
Everything.
Back in World War II, when we didn't know how long the war was going to last, I bring this up as often as I can. We used to have something called victory gardens. That's where you were asked to do your civic or patriotic duty and grow a garden in your front yard, your backyard, or front and backyard. And we were producing more food in the U.S. just from our suburbs and our communities and people's houses than what we actually needed to feed the whole world. And they've definitely pushed us away from that kind of mentality. And there's a lot of different cities and towns where you're not even allowed to grow your own food, collect your own rainwater. They're really trying to force you onto the system to basically get you attached. It is what it is. And there's little things that you can look back at history, like Dugan keeps on showing us, but these little things keep on adding up. And if you look at them and how they've all rolled into where we're at now, I mean, you can, if you can't see it, you got to really do your research. And it's not even that hard to find this stuff. Don't take our word for it. You need to figure it out for yourself. But at the same time, do it for yourself, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
That is the golden point, is that if there's one point in all of this, it's that humanity needs to come to a place where they accept the consequences of their acts, right? Meaning in all terms, both good and both in the positive consequence and in the negative consequence, because you can't have it all good. There's no easy bucket. That's not the way that this works. This thing that we call life. We have to be accountable completely and stop looking for the easy bucket. We can, of course, if we opened our eyes, we would be able to organize the way that we associate technologically so that it is a lot easier. And no, I don't mean a communistic way. What I mean is that, there are ways to not use money and to produce all of the technologies that we produce. And it would be much better. But if we're good on this topic of water, Sigma has been pretty quiet, but I would like to move on unless anybody else has anything else to say about water.
Yeah, Sigma, what do you got?
I've just been sitting back listening while you guys were talking. I was looking up articles on the power outages in Texas and trying to get the general, to sort of contrast with y'all. I was looking at what was generally being transmitted to everyone else to put all this in context. And I can't find anything that explicitly says why they're having these rolling power outages. Only one article I've said that makes it even sound deliberate. And that's from the, I think it's the Austin American Statesman is the one that's talked about power outages and rolling power outages.
what would be really, hey Sigma, what would be very interesting, I have a blurb on my local co-op, which is very small. It's a very small municipality. In this situation, they have a blurb on their website that has a cookie cutter explanation. What would be very interesting would be for people around the country that this is subject to right now, to go to their local electrical site and to copy the text blurb that is in their like their explanation, and then to put it in the comments so that other people can see what is local, and they can identify if there's cross language where it's identical.
Well, my one of my cousins works at the power plant up here. He's one of their main engineers, and I'll ask him about it tomorrow, because he's explained it to me before. Because sometimes when you look at this big winter storm in Texas, and this is fairly unprecedented, all of Texas is frozen right now. And he was explaining to me, sometimes if there's too much power being drawn, they can't give everybody everything they want all at once. They've almost got to predict a certain amount of draw on the power supply.
It's called the Virgin Equation, VIR. Now there is a lot of money spent in the government on infrastructure, and we have gone over.
And we suspect that this is not the problem. They're just doing this deliberately.
There's no problem. This is a program, and not only is it my local co-op in their messaging flat out says they will say something to the effect, they will allude to it being approximate in time to winter storms. They will not say winter storms have knocked out power. They allude to it so that you assume that that's what they're saying. They're not saying that.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting out of these news articles. Is nobody specifically says point blank the winter storm and the draw on power has limited our ability to put it out.
Because it hasn't. And then furthermore, there is a program now. This is a standardized program, and I don't know the source of it, but I promise you that it's out there. So somebody that's in the federal government, that's in Virginia, or is in the electrical business, will be able to probably find the name of that program or whatever. But they're pushing out a program of some sort where this is forecasted for years, like a new operating procedure, in order to, whatever bullshit reason they want to give, they'll give you a reason. But they are doing pre-planned power outages that will be on rotation in order to save power, and they're advising us to begin using less power in consumption in general for a multi-year program. And that was I got that directly from the co-op robo message. I wish I could have recorded it. I don't have a phone recorder set up on this, but it would have been good.
Let me address a couple comments. Mitchell Black, you and I are in neighboring states. I'm not too far from you. The weather has changed a bit. It's definitely let up, but there were no blackouts in my area that I know of. Regarding where was it at? Hold up. Apache Wolf said he got an email about it from his power company. Apache, if you would be willing to post what state you're in, I'd be curious about that.
Now,
it's funny because I saw a couple of news reports where they were saying it's been one of the coldest winters that I don't know if it was on record, but for Moscow and Russia, saying it looks like the beginning of a new ice age. I've seen that comment a couple of times for a couple of different countries. I'm not saying anything about we're about to get hit with an ice age, but they're making a lot of climate change kind of comments, and I'm thinking these rolling blackouts are going to roll right into what they're talking about with the Great Reset, where you will own nothing and you'll be happy, but they will take all your finances and everything else under the sun to be able to help further this climate control, climate remitigation program, climate control, whatever it may be, for the betterment of this planet.
We don't know shit anyway.
Well, it's funny that Al Gore's father, Al Gore Sr., I believe he's also a senator. He's telling us we were going to freeze to death in the 50s.
Didn't he say
there's old Time magazine article
right?
things. Oh no, that's his son. I'm going back to the 50s,
okay.
and his father actually told us we're all going to freeze to death. Now his son tells us we're all going to drown. And if you think about it, there's various. It's almost like a multiple. There's almost like multiple surgeons working on a body, right? And they've got these interesting little narratives, and everybody's got their little niche. You got some guys that are absolutely going full Chicken Little with the sky is falling. We're all going to die because of anthropogenic global warming. And then you've got other people that are, thinking that there's racist cults everywhere that are going to, the Ku Klux Klan's going to rise again somehow. And, there's all these other different superstitions, but the sum of it really does seem to be to totally neutralize any independence in the average person, at least in the United States. If you go to Europe, and I spent a lot of time there, they're not very independent there at all, except for like a few places like rural Sweden I've seen where it feels kind of like Americana. But you've got to understand that is a tiny, tiny percentage of that population, that nothing like what we have, because we've got huge areas, vast areas still populated by a fairly robust and independent population that really can, within a few weeks, if they have enough preparation, I'm pretty confident a lot of them would be able to survive a full power outage. In fact, FEMA themselves released a paper a couple of years ago saying that they expected 90% casualties if we had a power outage lasting more than a year. It just is a hypothetical scenario. I don't think that's probably going to happen, but it's worth keeping in the back of your head for context.
If there's nothing else significant on that topic, I'd like to push along here in the next thing, which is more significant.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
You guys good with that? Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's necessary. So there have been a lot of new media, new alt media that have come out in the recent years. And by years, what I should say is the last 6 months. Now, people are familiar. There's kind of realms of suspicion going on in the American population. Everybody is suspicious of something. Did I just lose everybody?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
They keep blinking out. I don't know. You guys having trouble with your internet connection?
I don't know what's going on over here.
Okay.
I can hear everything, but I lose my video every once in a while.
So anyway, everybody's suspicious of something.
Yeah. So everybody's suspicious of something. It's a lot of different things, and most of them are not really looking in the right place. Most people that have active, functional brains now understand that the MSM is untrustworthy. A smaller percentage of people understand that alt media, or what would be presented as alt media, is actually a pseudo version of the MSM in a different form in order to cast a wider net for the squirmers, right? And that would be a smaller percentage of people for sure. The even smaller, very small group of people, which is about to get a lot bigger now. What I want you to understand is that if it rides, then it is dirty. Meaning that if it's not some drunkard with a cell phone that is talking to you and that can't pull any views and can't pull any following because it's all being ghosted. If it's not that, then you should probably think twice about trusting it. And what I want to bring up in particular, because it's exemplary, is Awaken with JP. Now, of course, I enjoy Awaken with JP because, in a way, it is waking up people to become less trustworthy. But if you notice, its focus is on the traditional notion of government.
Yeah.
So your traditional, the way that people think about government, that is the primary target of attack for Awaken with JP. Now, I'm not spending any time consuming media. And so someone sent me a link, which is how I found out about them a few weeks ago. And I watched a single video or two videos, and I thought they were pretty good. But I just don't have, there's so much disinformation and such an active campaign.
Oh, wow. This is really polished. I'm just looking it up while you're talking about it.
So there is such an extreme amount of funding going into the alt campaign to replace all the people that have lost trust, like Alex Jones and some of the more traditional ones, with an entire new wave of alt media. And they're refining the approach to acceptance of the idea and normalization of the idea of a hidden master and a distrust, and placing that identification of the distrust into the traditional government structure, so that you identify it as a nice tight package with no understanding of how it functions or how it became corrupted or how it has no ability to free itself and has no choice but to follow the control paradigm. They don't want to deal with those kinds of issues. The only thing that Awaken with JP is focused on is making sure that you understand where to pin the tail on the donkey. And that's it. Now, after I understood this from watching a couple more videos, it became necessary to look up JP. And so JP's wife, and before I say this, I want you to understand that I love you all, including JP, even though I don't know him. And I think we've all made a really terrible mistake in how we've taken our approach to building this world. And it requires an equally serious reassessment and stepping back to understand where we've gone wrong and the direction that we need to go. But people like JP will not get you there because they work for the beast. And JP's wife and JP, I hope they're very happy. But they've taken upon themselves to make an endeavor to entertain people, to wake them up. And so they've invited me into discussing this by doing so. And that's the only reason that I bring it up, because they've swallowed a lot of people and their subscribership is very large. I'm not sure how many subscribers do they have. Can anyone see?
I'm looking at JP's channel right now. He's got 1.72 million subscribers, and his video from the 13th has 500,000 views, and it hasn't been censored. And I'm often like deep in censored media. I almost watch exclusively that. And the presentation style and polish on this, it's a Awaken, like Enric Falkenhayn asked, who is JP? This is Awaken with JP. It just like Awaken in the morning with JP, Juliet, Papa or whatever. Anyway, so it looks very polished, and I was kind of skimming it while you were talking there. And when you talked about the hidden master, was that how you put it, Dugan?
Yeah. Okay,
so I still have a lot of friends that are deep into the QAnon stuff, and I tell them, I'm saying, there's good information there, but you can't follow someone you can't see, because it's extremely dangerous. You don't know who's commanding you if you cannot see them. Like that's part of the burden of leadership, is to be visible and to be inspected by the people that you're, kind of trying to lead along. But it's very dangerous. It's an interesting way of putting it. We're all suspicious of something. It's just harmonizing the suspicions in a constructive manner and possibly putting them to bed, because that would be the ultimate thing for us all to do, is to go to a state of independent normalcy, where we can just live and let live, and we can't seem to do that anymore. It's a major problem.
We cannot, because this isn't done yet.
Nope, it isn't.
It will be. It will be, and it will come to an end someday. Now, JP's wife had a different last name before she got married to JP, and they're Jews, okay? And JP's wife is a Jew, and they seem very nice. JP's wife also has several homes. One is in Puerto Rico. One of them is in Texas, and they're originally, both of them are from California, which is one of the heaviest indicators of malfeasance in regards to media, is anyone from California. You essentially, if somebody's from California and they're not running away on fire, you probably shouldn't listen to them, because California is completely lost, and the people there accept tyranny. And anybody who understands what's going on isn't going to be broadcasting and trying to help you. If they are broadcasting and trying to help you, they're not going to have 1.9 million subscribers. So this is yet another investment to swallow souls, and it works very well. And they're getting a little bit more effective each time, but they're going to eventually lose, at least in their effort. A lot of these people come out of California, and there's a good reason for that, and that is because California is one of the strongholds of unfortunately what I would have to only name as Jewry, because you leave me no choice, because you don't differentiate between Jews and those who say they're Jews but are not.
Well, so if I could riff off of that, just one thing, that's also where their communications infrastructure is. And there's generations of people there, like JP, who might be, Charlie, or, D tier or C tier entertainers that are purposely or very well suited to this type of demoralization stuff.
Yeah. And so it's not only them, okay? And then they moved to Austin, Texas, right? So they're in Austin, Texas. That would also be where Alex Jones moved, right? So Alex Jones in Austin, Texas.
A lot of YouTubers have moved to Texas, specifically Austin and San Antonio recently.
That's right. And they're launching a new base in there, an expansion for their media poison to poison the minds of people. And
I keep seeing the banners and the memes still saying, "Don't California my Texas."
Yeah. Well, they've already done that. So good luck. But
Crowder's got 5.5 million subscribers.
Now, I guess that leaves, there could be a lot of different people watching this with different levels of awareness of what's going on. And my battery is dying, so unfortunately I'm going to have to keep this kind of curt. So what's really going on here? I think that's what I've got to get to.
Yeah.
So what is going on? And I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to give you the important cliff notes here. What is going on is that the Jews want to make a nation that they are not permitted to make. And they want that nation, which they are not permitted to make, which is modeled akin to our nations. They want it to be bigger and better and more powerful than any of the nations that we've ever built. They're not allowed to do this, and they will never do it. Whether they know that or not, that is the case. Now, it begs the question of why, in all of this, it is becoming more apparent what they are doing every day and where people are understanding. And so you have to skip ahead in time and say, what is the conclusion of this? And the logical conclusion of this is that society as a whole, when it is ready, is going to understand that the Jews are in a different kind of war against you. And it is different than any of the war that you understand or the way that you think of it. And this is just an uncomfortable fact that you will come to accept one day, whether you do right now or not, because it's not based off of any kind of ideal or any kind of supposition or the way that things shoulda, coulda, woulda, but just the way that things are. That you are having a war waged against you and you don't even know it because it's not declared. But rest assured, you are having a war waged against you. Now, the people who are doing this, they are not doing the only thing that really makes a proper Jew, which is to follow Torah. And they are not doing that. And regardless of what kind of smoke they want to blow up your ass when they discuss the rich heritage of the Jew, and they inflate their ego and put themselves in the shadow of God. What's really going on is that there is no definition of a Jew except who those people of Israel that have been named Jews. And that's it. And so the entire definition of Jew, there is no definition at all except when Moses says, now today you are a people. Other than that, there is no identification or identity at all of a Jew. And they are no one without that. Now, they would like to be more than that, or so they think. But they can never be anyone except exactly who they are. And if that's you, I want you to know that I know what comes into your mind and what you think about, but that'll never come about. And you will not be like the nations, and you will not serve wood and stone. You shall be driven. And the Jews want to create that parallel that I just told you by their own design and their own hand. And the goal of all of this is to wake you all up someday so that you drive the Jews out into Israel to create a synthetic parallel messianic era. And that is what all of this is about. They're paralleling actuality by their own design and hand. But it won't happen. It's all going to come crashing down. I love you guys. I got to go. My battery's going to die. Please feel free to continue on. I love you.
All right, Doug. Love you,
See you,
man. Be
Dugan.
safe, man.
So a couple things to touch on. I was seeing some things pop up in the in the stream. I understand Zalpop, and we're going to discuss it. If a target never pops over a concrete wall, well, we'll discuss it in a second. There is nobody on this stream. There is nobody affiliated with Dark Light Dugan that is anti anyone. We are nothing but compassionate. We care for people. There is not a bone in any of our bodies that are anti anyone. You can enter anything there. I saw some people saying like, hold on, Dugan is, anti-Jew. That's absolutely not the case.
No.
What we're doing is looking at facts and information, and you cannot, there's absolutely no way you cannot say that looking at the people who run Alphabet, which is the biggest, most powerful company in the entire world, Google and YouTube, are all Jews. Their board of directors, they're,
we have to describe them ultimately, and that's the most expedient way to describe them to where everyone can objectively see where we're referencing from.
Exactly.
So there's not any hate here.
Yeah.
But there is knowledge, and people who have agendas and want to remain concealed while they do their agendas that may rely on concealment are going to be very threatened by this. And they've created an environment to where they can throw that anti-Semite word around, and it's almost like they're marking targets, and they just want people to dissociate and disengage, just like you're training a dog, with a little squirt bottle, and you go. It's like, stop doing that. We can't allow ourselves to be trained like that. We're human beings, not dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
one of the biggest things is Dugan's mentioned it time and time again that there's a cabal of people that claim to be Jewish, but they're not truly Jewish. Like he said, a real Jew is one that follows the Torah, and that's what it is.
Well, that is interesting that you mentioned that, the fake Jews. That's
like the
one.
Erev Rav, and even the Jews call the Erev Rav. It's basically like a slur word to them, as in traitor. But Erev Rav followed the Jews out of Egypt, and they were basically the magicians and the tricksters, and they wanted to follow along on the bandwagon. And then they basically embedded and culturally appropriated way back then, and followed them around. And now they've embedded so much where they've put policies in place where you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things. If you call somebody out, whatever it may be, there's more protection against anybody of the Jewish practicing faith than anybody else in this country. There's more things to protect them. We send a ton of money over to Israel. I have no problem with Jewish people. I love them. I think everybody needs to have a place in this world. But when people think that they can start pushing over and start trying to wage their own war behind the sidelines and have everybody fight each other over, simple things like polarization of politics. Now we have a billion different genders. I mean, getting everybody to look every which way, but devalue everything that we own, devalue our independence, our structure. There's a small group, but that small group is in every facet of entertainment, corporate business, government, and government around the world.
Banks, NGOs.
But I would say this about them. I think a lot of them are meat shields. They're something we can. Whatever's running behind this group, as they use them as like the last curtain, so to speak, because they're the concealment for maybe something a little bit more sinister. And some of that's come out in the last handful of years, depending on how far you want to get into, your, I don't want to say the word because it's gonna kick an Epstein.
Like an
Epstein stuff and certain pizza flavored materials, because all of that got convoluted as hell fast.
Let me actually jump in and say one thing really quickly, because it looked like there was some confusion earlier on that we didn't address. So what Dugan was saying is that the mainstream media has been so tainted with messages to drive people to act or not act, right? And we know everything is controlled by shoe people, okay? So what he was saying is that there's controlled infiltrators, whether they came in as infiltrators or came in, gained influence, and then through whatever, likely money, became...
Well, they're initializing baseline. Their initial training in school and culture and movies, because honestly, what you watch is partly what you're going to be using to shape your reality. They're all going to infiltrate it first until they have learned about the place that they are long enough to where they realize what they actually want. So that's why they're so tight on the communications control, media control, is they want that baseline starting point to be unified. So they've got time to mold whoever actually gets into things that they're interested in or want to neutralize.
Dugan's given examples throughout history. The Germans, the Russians, the Chinese, every single one of these different places of power, they've been taken over. They've been infiltrated. They've been manipulated. Dugan even went over and said the People's Republic of China, who started it, was a group of Jewish people who funded and everything. I mean, every little thing, there's a backing, and there's the people of trade behind it. And if you look throughout history, the bankers, they would tell the kings, hey, if you don't want to do what we're telling you to do, don't worry. We will bankrupt your country, and we'll have your whole country burnt down to the ground, and we'll start it up fresh, or we'll allow somebody to take it over and they can run it for you. So, I mean, these are a lot of different things, but it's not the Jewish people. It literally is people who try to pretend that they are and who have been embedded for so long. They're basically, the snake in the apple tree in the Garden of Eden.
Well, it is kind of disgusting to watch. I watched Matt Gaetz and Al Sharpton joust in the Senate. This must have been a couple weeks ago, or within the last couple weeks. And basically the whole time they're wrangling over what hateful things Al Sharpton said about the Jews. And it's sort of like guys trying to out-virtue signal each other. And it's disgusting because both the Republicans and Democrats do this shit.
It's so annoying. Created a specific group to monitor hate speech of Jews just recently. This is a complete, like a new group specifically for that. And just to tie off what I was saying is that Alex Jones, Steven Crowder, Tim Pool, Awaken with JP, you name it. You guys could keep listing them off. They're all compromised. They're all controlled op. They're all controlled opposition. They're all here for a very specific purpose, to gain influence. And, that's so for anyone that didn't understand that alt media is compromised.
I've been around a couple of candidates for Congress, and I've been in the little game for a bit on both sides. And I even worked for Nader once upon a time because he's like the third option. And he went to Harvard. In fact, classmates of his I knew. And they said he was a very hardworking guy. I think a lot of these dudes, they know the rules of the road, and they see the boundaries, and they justify compromising things to get just one or two things done. And at the end of the day, like, this is the thing, like, people are too obsessed worrying about controlled opposition. Like, you need to take that down and don't let them force multiply inside of your head, because it'll make you inert. That's one of their suppression tactics. Like, they either want to make you apathetic or too paranoid to do anything. And that's just like if you're this is a really corny analogy, but that's sort of like being in a firefight and you're being suppressed by indirect fire, and you're unwilling to maneuver on your enemy, and you're letting him maneuver on you, and you're going to fucking die because you're not doing anything. You're not taking the initiative. That's effectively what I'm seeing here psychologically at a macro scale being done all around us. And they've cranked it up quite a bit.
What's worse, like Dugan said, you don't even know you're being waged war against.
Bingo. That's exactly what I was going to say. What's worse is when you don't even know that you're in a firefight.
The thing that kills me is like one of the worst things that you can call somebody. Okay, Nazi. Okay, what's worse than a Nazi? Calling them a pedophile. Now you look at Hollywood, and there's
actually it doesn't poll. They just did a poll the other day. Apparently, being a racist worse than being a pedophile. In fact, I sometimes go into certain chats that have got like 100,000 plus people in it, and like places. I'm not going to name the exact spots, but I'll lead like a chant. It's a good mixed crowd. It's not politically polarized. I'm like, yeah, anybody that's ever said the N-bomb, we need to find them. We need to drive them out of their jobs. We need to put them on the street. We need the wives to divorce them. We need to drive them to suicide. They was like, yeah. And then once they've had a good cheer in, then I flip it and I'm like, so you guys want to kill somebody and ruin their entire life and leave their children fatherless or motherless because they said a single word. And then, usually I get banned at that point. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to like force them to see something, and then like scold them at the same
You were
time.
like
And when
the
they see it,
troll.
they're not happy. But the one thing I want to bring up is, typically 99% of people don't like pedophiles. And a pedophile goes to jail. Typically, they get a shiv in their neck or their gut, whatever it may be. They don't last too long.
Well, they're actually broadening that
Steve,
definition
right.
colloquially.
Steven
This coverage.
Spielberg, his adopted daughter, come to find out she was raped. And people say they know who did it. She knows who did it, but nobody is coming forward and admitting. Corey Haim, all these childhood stars know who put their hands on them and penetrated them, did all these things that fucked them up in the head, but nobody's coming out and saying a goddamn thing.
No, it's
There
currency
is
for
a
them.
cabal. There's a cabal of powerful people that have people scared, and people don't want to come out and stand up against things.
That's currency for them, though. That's blackmail currency.
Yep.
The implied threat, and even if you aren't necessarily the dude, like imagine this: you've got an array of 20 people that have interacted with a child star, right? And most of those 20 people didn't do anything to them, but a couple of them are politically outspoken, and you actually have the couple dudes that actually did do something. But you can cast aspersions, and that gives you a whole lot of maneuvering room. And like cast aspersions of this weird atmosphere. I'm actually kind of glad that people have gotten a little apathetic on it. Yeah, that Jan Schneider guy looks fucking creepy as shit. I saw all that foot stuff. That's weird. But I'm just looking at one of the
You said
comments.
Dan Schneider?
Yeah. I think he's a Nickelodeon dude, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. It seems really pathological to me. Like how fixated they get. I just don't get it.
Why is it you
almost
only
programmed.
hear? Yeah, why is it you only hear about child sex trafficking rings when the DNC or the RNC are going from state to state, like recruiting and trying to get hype for their the Republicans or the Democrats? Oddly enough, child sex trafficking rings follow them, but nobody can put two and two together.
Ed Buck. You guys ever heard of that guy? Ed Buck?
That sounds familiar.
He was a big fundraising guy, rich dude out in the western part of the country. I think he's like clicked up with I can't remember all these congressmen's names. But if you look up Edward Buck, he's been charged with murder. And there's some photos of him circulating around the Mongolian basket weaving forum of a male prostitute who was later found dead. And that was pretty interesting. Like that's just obviously him just killing black people, which is ironic as fuck. It's a Jew guy killing black people. And apparently, the Democrats, the party of black people, is like, come on, this is so disgustingly hypocritical.
Somebody mentioned in the chat that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican and the Democrats were the ones that started the KKK.
Oh, the KKK is reborn. Don't you see them? That's Antifa and BLM. And the ultimate goal of those organizations is to create and push a narrative to where, in order to placate them, we have to abolish our public sector police forces. Now, like them or hate them, those guys are still ultimately beholden to elected officials. If you replace that with private sector like contractors, that's gonna be a can of worms, man.
Ooh, you want to talk about somebody opening fire on a motherfucker
and then
not having to worry too much because they don't have to do as much paperwork?
And keep this in your heads too. Like if you notice, we've had a 1-2 punch. We've had civil unrest, which caused physical damages to private property inside of cities. And you have the COVID thing, which created a general disruption in physical access to businesses and a normal economy. What did that do? It consolidated all of this logistics and power, and also people's reliance on these digital companies to get their food, to get their socialization, and to get out. And it's driving people crazy, and it's allowing these companies eventually, if this continues, to buy all of that real estate in these large cities that's very expensive for pennies on the dollar to what it's worth right now.
Hey, Sigma, it's funny because I finally watched on one of these free streaming services, I believe it was Tubi, a Russian movie. I like foreign movies, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, because they're interesting and they're not the standard crap that you watch here in the States. So subtitled or not, whatever it may be. but every time an ad came on, there was probably like 6 ads each group, maybe 5, 6, 7 times during the movie. Almost every single one of those ads were for Amazon, Amazon Prime, Amazon Streaming. Oh, Amazon Instant Grocery, Amazon this,
It's
Amazon
just
that.
trying to get you aware of your options, but
Right,
yeah, it's
because
no
mom
bueno.
You mean
because
your
mom
option?
and
Hey.
pop needs to shut the fuck up and shut their doors and fucking take that, the $1,400 stimulus
One
check.
silver bit of lining to this, though.
Yeah.
The
Remember
richest
when
guy
you
on the
used to be able to
planet
do
right now
local?
is I'm sorry. Go on, Dark.
No,
Sorry.
I was just gonna say right around that point really quickly. You remember when you used to be able to do local YouTube advertising, where like something would pop up and it would be like something local to your area? Not anymore. The goal is to kill all small businesses and only have these massive big box
It's
stores.
true.
What up, Pinecone? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so just the silver lining to this, though, the guy that did say, hey, hello, who owns the media, and got shit on, he's now the richest guy on the planet, which is kind of cool. I don't know. What do you guys think of Elon Musk? I know this is going into pop areas. But,
no, I kind of like him. He's South African, correct?
Yeah.
I will take a South African over an American any day. He speaks funny. He looks a little bit funny, but he has some interesting ideas, and a lot of things he's trying to do is to benefit people. And also, he's one of the billionaires that I've never heard talk about depopulation or sterilization of the property or of the people. And why I said property is because Bill Gates, he is the largest farm owner in America.
Yeah,
That's kind of
did you hear
weird.
that he also is now the #1 stock owner in the train that I forgot what the company is, but it's a company that is a train that goes directly from the continental U.S. to Canada, transporting usually fresh goods from the United States, like food, fucking.
People for re-education camps.
Honestly, what it's looking like is like, okay, if I know what the future of the world is going to look like and it's going to be a disaster, how can I net profit off of that disaster, right? So let's go back to 2015. We all know about the Rothschilds. How did one of the Rothschilds take a patent out for a specific, and you can look it up, Google it, or DuckDuckGo, whatever, a COVID-19 test in 2015. Okay.
Yeah, I actually have a meme about that. I like it a lot.
And it gets better. So in 2015, one of the Rothschild children took out a patent for COVID-19 tests. So we're talking 4.5 years prior to the virus being transported from the North Carolina lab to Wuhan and back and forth. And then all of a sudden in 2019 and 20, 3 more patents are taken out specifically for testing and tracking. So they're looking at ways that if they know what's going to happen, they will always be able to generate profit from it.
Well, what's interesting is they're all going down to New Zealand to hang out during this crisis because the place is so isolated. They're living normally down there.
Their billionaires are building bunkers in New Zealand. I've heard that.
Yeah, but the more
And
minor ones are able just to hang out and live normal life while the rest of us have to deal with this bullshit. And the Chinese are completely aware of what's going on. None of their cities are locked down, except for a few places they use as photo ops.
No,
and the rest of the Western world
lock down their cities. They just weld the doors on people's houses and apartments.
Yeah. I think, I see somebody that said in the chat, somebody so-and-so has an address. Here's the thing about that. If you were to do anything to any of these guys, they would just start running propaganda about what a great person this was. And then they're going to, it's just like judo. Okay. I try to punch you and they're going to use that energy. The best way to defeat these people is to spread information.
And we do not condone any action for anyone.
All right, chill. We're not doing that. We're not even getting close. All right, we're not getting close to that. But disclaimers aside, the best way to defeat these people is to expose them. and let them rot in the open. Well, they already can't travel very well without getting a pie in the face. And I guarantee you, a few pies in the face is going to remind you that nobody really likes you. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be one of these super rich guys that needs a whole clique of bodyguards around me. That would be fun. Have an advanced team go in front of you every time you want to leave your city. I mean, and I get what you're saying, and what they've done is terrible. But right now, we need to make it popular and cool to be aware of the game. Like, I honestly, the best way to protest COVID lockdowns, in my opinion, is to get with a lot of your friends, communicate indirectly with each other, and show up at a restaurant or some place and everybody agree not to wear masks. Don't do it to like some mom and pop places, just get it fined. Go to a big chain place like a Chipotle or a Walmart and just everybody roll in as a big old group and already in your heads know how you're going to deal with the security guys or employees that want to confront you, and just be like, laugh at them and go, you actually believe this? And go ahead and print off things like CDC statistics that tell you the fatality ratio of infections and hand that out to people. And just don't wear the mask and go as a big group, because you don't want to just roll in here solo, because group think and authoritative bias and the whole lemming effect, you don't want to fight against that. It's better to try and bring your own crowd, because a lot of people will take off their masks when you show up with a group.
I'm in Florida, man. I don't have to worry about that bullshit. And when they were trying to do those fines, I had an officer. I was going inside of a 7-Eleven, and literally I crossed county lines, went into a 7-Eleven, and an officer was there. And they were like, oh, no, it's mandated. You have to wear a mask or it's a $500 fine. And I'm talking, this officer, he's looking at me. He's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a suggestion. It's not a mandatory fine. You can write me a piece of paper, but it does not hold against me. It doesn't go against my points on my license, anything else like that. You're literally writing me a piece of paper to try to enforce something that you can't tax me or extort me for money. Other places, people were actually willing to give up their funds. But here in Florida, 2 months later, it's all gone now. We're not worried about it. We haven't been locked down forever, man.
I've been doing really well in Florida.
Did you hear about the exchange DeSantis supposedly had with Joe Biden?
No.
About
locking or banning travel from Florida.
Yeah, apparently it ended with "go fuck yourself"
or
something
yourself.
like that. And I was like, there's this meme on the Mongolian basket weaving forum, and it was like his little Doge, and he's ringing up the base department, and it's like, brr, brr. Hello, the base department. How may I direct your call? It's like, I need to speak to something such. Anyway, he finally gets on the line with a human. He's like, yeah, you're going to want to see this. And it's a link to like the DeSantis transcript, supposedly. And I just sat there. It's like, even if it isn't true, that's just too amusing. Because, I mean, if you've looked at the coup in Burma, the military there took out Aung San Suu Kyi, who actually broke with her handlers, but still, she looks like she was installed by Clinton and Obama and their little clique there. And that hammer and scorecard stuff that McCurney was talking about, that appears to be legit. And I'm not a QAnon follower. I would read the stuff, and I like the fact that my hairdresser now wants to talk high politics with me.
I knew about that before I knew about QAnon. The hammer and scorecard. I've known about a couple other things.
Now, I heard about it just before the election. Then I went back and looked at some of McCurney's other statements. Sadly, he's been down for a long time talking about this. And I guess people are just very good at ignoring certain generals that nobody likes. And, the media, he's a credible guy telling you about a secret program. Nobody's locked his ass up for breaking whatever security protocol. I don't know this stuff, but it's incredible to me that we can't do the same. I mean, we're a joke at this point. Chinese have us dead to rights at this point.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible.
I made a comment that we're telling men here in the United States that you need to become more feminine and do all this other stuff. In China, they're telling their men you need to become more masculine. Here's a funny fact that I found out when I was in the Navy. Back, what was it? 04, 05, somewhere in there. I was actually, or I wasn't privy. I was passed on some information because when you're on a ship and you're on a command ship, people
You
talk
hear
and
shit.
hey, this is some interesting shit right here. Well, apparently China back in '04, '05, whatever, was working on biometric implants, like basically biometric muscles, optical implants, basically replacing an eyeball and putting a infrared, whatever, you have predator vision or some shit. It would burn out in maybe a week or two, but they were playing around with functionality, this and that, and they were testing this on all their prisoners. Bicep replacements with synthetic muscles, where you didn't have to worry about wearing them out, this or that. And basically what it would do would be ripping the ligaments or breaking the bones because they were overpressured,
Yeah, a little
overpowered.
bit too much.
Now it's funny because now over like the past 3 months they're talking about, hey, China is literally trying to make super soldiers, biologically enhanced soldiers. And I'm like, yeah, they've been playing around with that for quite a while now.
Yeah, so like that's the thing with like adrenaline. If you have a whole bunch of it, you've been high on adrenaline for a while and you're used to working with it. Like all that great advice about proper body posture when you do crazy shit on adrenaline, super important. Otherwise, your body isn't meant to be overstressed like that. And you will permanently damage yourself after a couple rides. I figure the Chinese are doing stuff like that. I've heard of guys doing some pretty incredible feats of strength, like picking up somebody with one hand, shit like that. And I know that's possible with just old tech. I don't know about all this other shit. I think the big delta between imagination, actuality is I think we're restricted to lithium batteries still, and they don't have so much amperage and they can't store a whole lot of power. So once you get past that, then you get into the crazy shit real fast because we have all the mechanical parts we need to do a lot of this stuff. We just don't have the power.
Yeah, we've had black ops programs for the longest time. I'm not going to get onto alien tech or anything like that, but we've had,
Yes, you are.
we've had, homemade and, Tesla tech stuff of this nature, where we're able to extract energy. I mean, literally, what is it? Telegraph lines. They did not work off an electrical grid. You had a copper cable come down and run off about 20 feet from the line above the ground, and it would literally pick up the electromagnetic radiation from the Earth, and that's what powered telegraph lines. If you take a number 12 copper wire, suspend it over the ground about a foot, don't let it touch or ground out, 200-foot long, let it sit there for about 20 minutes and go touch it. You probably will die. I mean, we have ways to be able to extract energy that are considered, threats against national security and national infrastructure. And it's not about the nation's security or the nation's infrastructure. It's about the corporations that want to have power.
Yeah, I've heard that before. All the guys
JP
in
Morgan.
crypto wanted to be able to generate more power so they could harvest more coins, and they're having a big problem with just power generation consumption issues.
Hey, real quick, guys, I've got a specific request. So we got 121 people in here now. Apparently 19 people only wanted to listen to Dugan. So
I can't blame him.
is-
He's a lot more charismatic than I am, at least.
I just think he's that guy.
I was looking at his videos the other day, and I was still chuckling to myself. All those music videos are so great.
Oh, how can you not? Dude is a pure fucking Chad.
Somebody did a music video with him in there with like hard bass Russian techno, and I had to send it to Dark. I'm like, dude, this is
You need to send me that
awesome.
one. I play it sometimes because like I'm in strange companies sometimes, and everybody's got their very popular like trendy songs, and I'll play some Dugan shit from 2013, and like people are like, "What in the hell?" Because they're used to like a bunch of like black guys and bling and Jews funding the video, and then they see this guy with like a whole bunch of coffee cups and an AK singing about Kalashnikovs, and it looks kind of cool. And they're like, this is great. It's like, yeah, it's 7 or 8 years old now. And it's
This
pretty
bitch
cool.
never jams.
Yes, that's right. She
My
does what I
gang's bigger than
command.
yours. Hey, he shows
Yeah.
his tattoo. My gang's bigger than yours.
Yeah. So here is the Booger Eater keybase. It's not ours. It doesn't belong to us. It's not Dugan's. We're not responsible for anything that y'all do up in there. So, and it's some terrible dirtbag, lowest scum of the earth, incredible, remarkable people. So enjoy.
I keep meaning to join it, and I just never get around to it. I've had the stuff for a while.
Keybase is a place where it's supposedly encrypted, and it's probably completely
supposedly encrypted. Oh yes, I feel so much safer already.
Yeah, right.
Don't hack me, FBI.
The only social media I'm on is pretty much really only YouTube. I'll check in with Keybase every once in a while. But Facebook, I mean, I don't have Facebook anymore. I mean, I still got an account out there somewhere, but I don't have Facebook. I don't have any of this shit.
Dude, we need to like throw in and get Dugan a proper like auxiliary battery so here and talk to us some more. I've got I've got this backpack of what?
Sorry. Or even a cord where like he could plug in his phone to talk, you know.
Yeah. We get him an old school ruck pack with like a marine battery on the back and an inverter. Dude, I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what else do we want to discuss on that? I mean, I know essentially, guys, the message was that we wanted to get out to you that like.
What about the viewers? Let's let them pick what we talk about.
I would love to. So
let's see if something they come up with is pretty cool.
Put some shit in the chat.
All right, I'm looking at the chat right now. Let's see.
And while they do that, just to like surmise everything, we've been talking to you guys
System, are you alive, brother? Oh my God, I've been trying to reach out to you, man.
System's been in the chat almost the whole time.
Yeah, I just checked chat right now.
Just to surmise everything, we've been telling y'all for forever to become as independent as possible. And Dugan's been telling you guys for over a year to become as independent as possible for at least the main things: water, food, shelter, security, right? Like that's the most important shit. And I know we can't just all jump into it right away, but here's the reason why: because everything we have is controlled by others, right? Your water, your gas, your electricity, your food, everything is controlled by others. If you're buying guns and ammo or whatever, it's because the plan is for you to buy, like, you know, it's all part of the plan. Anyway.
Hey, Tom Dirts, about the Philadelphia shooting. Honestly, if that's the over the scooping of the snow, I really don't want to talk about that, man. Whether it's a psyop, false flag, or it's complete legitimate, I can believe either one of those. But at the end of the day, that's some hard shit, and you know, there's lives lost and family members that will never be able to see them again. Loki Sky, hey Sigma, talk more about the Capitol video. You're the one that put me and Dugan on the Capitol video.
Oh, yeah, the
you want to give a light
one.
chat?
Hey,
yeah,
you guys could put it in chat. Why don't you link it for everybody? And yeah, sure, I'll say a couple things about the Capitol shooting video. So
you're on your computer, right?
Yeah, I am. I don't know how to actually chat with everybody.
You know what? Hold up. Oh. I got you. I'm going to pull that bitch up, screen share it, and we're going to watch it with these motherfuckers.
All right. And I just wanted to show that Joe Biden doesn't just molest children and women. He also gets our deputies. That's pretty terrible.
Just send the link in there.
Yeah.
That video is like 30 minutes.
So I went and talked to this homicide investigator that's got like 20 years experience that I know, right? And she was telling me, I've known her a long time. She told me, she's an old lady, but she was like, she looked at the video and she's like, yeah, that's not legit. And like the woman, the big thing was the woman kept on looking to the left, like she was prepping herself to do that. And it looked like a trust fall and like is very, very well staged. And, this is one of those, like, there wasn't a lot of blood there. They say it drained into her lungs or something. And I suppose that's possible. But and these
The
are really
angle of
tough.
the angle of the shot, it looked more like a stomach shot. They say she got hit in the neck. If she got hit in the neck, just from what I've seen with battlefield trauma, legitimate. There is coughing up and spitting of blood, not just
Yeah, an involuntary response, not just immediately knocked out. Unless I guess
Yeah.
maybe her spinal column was severed by that. Maybe a T-zone shot, but that didn't even look like that there either.
But she was still moving her hands. She was still moving
Yeah,
her
yeah,
legs.
you're right. You're right.
But,
Yes,
but like the first 2 minutes, she was pretending she was dead or she was in shock, whatever it may be. I don't know if the video is legit or not. I
Well,
don't know anything anymore.
my
They
very
play so many
skeptical
fucking games.
associate, who has a great deal of experience, she even told me at one time she had a car wreck victim who had the carotid severed there, and she, blood going everywhere. And it goes off like a hose. She says, I stuck my finger in there, try to stop the bleeding, and the individual survived. But there should have been a lot more blood. There wasn't. And then the way the body was handled, and then the little SWAT officer fiddling with the gloves for like 10 minutes. And it didn't seem like any of those people had any training. Yeah. I don't think any of those people look legitimate.
And one thing that I know about, and I know officers on SWAT, and I've seen the training. I also know, force multiplier tactics, from the Navy and a couple other trainings that I've done with Marines, Army, stuff of that nature. If you're securing a scene, you don't just stand on fucking stairs waiting there, just, hey, yeah, okay, nobody doing everything, looking around, eyeball. No, you get everybody the fuck out. You fucking maintain control of the situation. You put your fucking foot down. You get everybody the fuck out of there.
Grab the people.
You secure the scene. They did not secure the scene. They're supposed to be some of the best, which are the Capitol Police SWAT team. They're supposed to be some of the best. Yet they acted like a bunch of fucking amateurs.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's a psyop. That's a psyop. I am really confident that. And what really is scary about this is I think that the governors have lost respect for the governed. And I think that just from my thoughts on our interface with China, I think our leadership has become very intertwined with the Chinese leadership and seduced by them. And then they look at us, the regular people and the rest of the country, and they've dissociated from us. And see, the sad thing is our anger towards them is legitimate, but we need to like AOC, as much as she's a lying, I'm trying to think of something less edgy. She's a lying sack of shit, but at the same time, we need to be very careful to sit there and try. Like, if I was going to ambush her with like a live stream, I'd just be like, hey, why don't you talk to us? This is my contact info. I'm live streaming. I would like to discuss your interpretations of the event around the Capitol Hill shooting. And you have to be approachable to them and really let them talk. And if they're going to continue to lie and prevaricate, let them talk. Don't scare them away.
They're gonna let them walk themselves into their own trap.
That's right. They'll eventually screw themselves up, and we have to let them do that. Like it's a big deal. Like I really think they were trying to beat the wave. Like they could see. Like I'm pretty sure the data analytics guys that are monitoring our comms and stuff, like people that work at all the different internet communications companies that are able to look at people's conversations and the general topics that are discussed there, they know people are angry and they're trying to break that wave beforehand. So they take all those boomers that showed up on the 6th and they put their crisis actors in there and they run a little game, and those crisis actors did their job, and they go home patting themselves on the back thinking they're keeping us from exploding. And I see just more and more dissociation where we're not even talking anymore.
They've been trying to light this powder keg. What was it? I'm sitting on a powder keg and I'm giving off sparks. I forget the name of the song.
I don't think they're trying to light the powder keg per se.
Everything that I've seen, it literally looks like they're trying to get Antifa, BLM to rile up all these Republicans or the people on the right, that, we're constitutionalists, patriots, or whatever you believe. But, basically the gun owners of America for the most part. And they were really, really hoping with the fires, the mostly peaceful protests with buildings burning behind them and police, in federal buildings getting bombed and IED'd and all this other shit. Nobody really went out there and just started gunning people down. The only thing that they had in their favor was a 17-year-old kid that ended up shooting a couple of pedophiles and, abusers of people.
Well, it's amazing. Out of all
trying to
those
run
people he
away
could have
from
shot,
everybody.
after all those people he could have shot, he managed to hit a whole bunch of people that certainly seemed to deserve catching a bullet.
I've told a lot of people straight up, for a 17-year-old kid, he has better trigger discipline and, just doing what he had to do and getting the fuck out of there than most adults that I fucking know.
Yeah.
Most people I know, they would just went bop, 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 bop.
Mowing
No,
down
he
the
just
whole.
tried getting the hell out of there.
And
I
He
kind
did
of
what
wonder
he
if
had
his
to do
weapon
to save
jammed.
his life.
But
He cleared. If you slow down the footage, during that time where he dropped on the ground and rolled over, and the shot went off and rode the street, he cleared a malfunction and then turned it up and brought the gun up and then turned the armed spaghetti on, and then so like if there's a super quick moment where he cleared a malfunction and then came back up to make armed spaghetti. But
I love that meme, dude. Palms sweaty, arms spaghetti.
yeah, that was great.
You know what? Dark humor, man. I absolutely love it. At the end of the day, I don't like people losing their lives, even if they're scumbag pieces of shit. But it is what it is. There's certain things where I'll laugh at and I'll joke at. The snow shovel shooting. I made a stupid comment to Dark, just saying, "Oh my God, motherfucker needed to go to the range a little bit more," which is a shitty comment because people lost their lives. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can see how a firearm, even at point blank range, can't be as effective unless you actually train and practice with it. It is what it is, but if they actually lost their lives, whatever happened, I don't know the scenario because I was not there, but I don't like to see any Americans. I don't care if you're first gen, second gen, or you're getting your citizenship. I don't give a fuck. I don't like seeing any Americans being hurt. We need to come together. I don't care race, gender, creed, what you identify as. Fuck it. Fuck all of y'all. We are in this country because this country is great. We are in this country and this country is great because of us. That is it.
So fuck it. Let's at least graze the subject. If it is indeed real, that is a level of brutality that can only be reached by this is the direction. So someone
by keeping people in lockdown and getting them stressed out through media and everything else.
Losing money, losing everything, can't pay your mortgage, wife left you, kids. I mean, the type of shit that was designed to happen during a lockdown situation is the type of shit that is created to, synthesize situations like that. And if that did truly happen, then that was a level of brutality that just is incomprehensible. And if it did happen, then because I think
that's excessive force. That guy wasn't in any jeopardy for his life. I don't think he was in reasonable fear for his life.
No, not at all. It was just basically people are sick and tired and fed up at this point in time with all the crap, the loss of money. This dude might be, 6 months late on his mortgage. He might have lost his job. I mean, everything is falling down around this guy's life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if this is all real, he just killed 2 people that have a special needs child that has to go in with either a family.
Oh, you're talking about the shooting up in Philadelphia.
The snow shooting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were still talking about the Capitol shooting. That was ridiculous.
Sorry.
Oh, I found the meme of oh shoot. No, I can't transmit that one over this. But the meme of the Rothschild patent for the coronavirus. But The
Go ahead.
well, I can't show that one for. I'd have to do something to show it, but I do have the part where the police let the guys into the Capitol Hill shooting, or a Capitol Hill area. Like they
Yes.
open up the gates, like you
I
see these
want.
barricades, and then just open it right up.
I
Nobody
wonder if
breaks
that. I wonder if the Capitol SWAT team came in with the protesters.
Well, I just sit here and I go and I'm like, these guys are not very threatening at all. Like I've been to Trump rallies and stuff. Those are very civilized
Yeah, they
people.
burn crosses and they loot stuff all around them. They're degenerates, man.
Yeah,
I've
well, our
seen the
media
news.
is criminally deviating from the truth, and I think that suing them for misrepresenting these things and causing injury to people and their lives outside of these events, because you can't even talk anymore without losing your job, even about stuff that isn't even that all that edgy, like calling into it. It's so difficult and intractable.
Dude, it's collusion and conspiracy. I mean, even what they did with the impeachment trial, it's collusion and conspiracy.
Well,
A
they fabricated
legitimately,
evidence there, and people are
right.
trying to make excuses for the fact, oh, we just changed the date on that tweet and
But if
put
it
a
was
blue
a
check mark where it
criminal,
did belong.
but if this was in a criminal court, they could be held accountable. But this is not a criminal court. So they can make this a kangaroo court as much as they fucking want, and it does not matter because there's no repercussions. They have no repercussions.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's.
I
I'm
think
wondering what will
everybody in the
happen on the
States,
19th, though, with the two fraud lawsuits going to the Supreme Court. I mean, I'm not holding out too much hope, but I'm still watching.
I think your senators and your House of Representative members for your state, if they're caught lying, collusion, stupid shit like that, I think you should send it back to like old school days where you cane them. You cane them and get them the fuck out of there, and you put somebody else in there. And we figure out the right way, but we also have term limits. And term limits is a big one. Yeah, that can get bastardized real fucking quick, but at the same time, we have a better chance of ousting some of these people that the only thing they want to do is be career politicians and make money off the sweat off everybody else, and they don't have to follow the same standards.
Yeah, it's a shame because there probably are occasionally some really good politicians like Ron Paul,
And they
who
start off good
probably should have
until
stayed in forever.
and then they sell off a little piece of their soul to make one thing happen.
Yeah.
And then a little bit more, then another thing happened, then a little bit until there's really not much soul left there to sell.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And we should be more forgiving, because I would rather see one of these people who did sell out a little bit come to us as the people and go, look, this and this happened, and you guys need to know about it, and
I'll forgive you if
them.
you admit to your grievances, just like my children.
Well,
You're not
their
going to
job
get an
should be
ass
to
whooping if
out
you
this.
come and tell me the truth.
Yeah, that's right. And then they should out this somehow. And
Picone, you want to get on here with us? We got a little bit more time.
Hey, Sig, you want Picone on here with us?
I mean, I'm not going to raise any protest. Bring anybody you want on here. That's great. I think I've talked to Picone before.
Hey, we'll do this. We'll take a vote. Everyone in the chat, if you want Pinecone, no, if you want Picone to hop in, post a PP in the chat.
I'm just looking for more memes.
Oh, hold up.
Or cool things.
I gotta post a PP.
Yeah, you can go funny now.
Oh, watch that GUN though. If someone thinks that's a real GUN.
Oh, there's nothing illegal about showing a reload, even if it came from the horse's mouth.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Oh
No,
God, that's a good one.
It's a stupid YouTube live stream thing.
Oh, really? Are you on YouTube with us?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Oh, hey, what's the link for that? I never even look. Like, you guys invite me on here, and I never even look at the YouTube.
Dark Light Dugan.
All right,
just search that on YouTube, and you'll see we're live right now.
I'm gonna cringe too hard. Especially if I see my own shadow on the fucking internet. Oh yeah, I can see myself. Oh, cool.
Mine's not reloading. It shows a horse with an M92 PAP.
Yeah, it's oh wow, that's kind of cool. Yeah. All right, let me get this thing back to cycling. There we go. That's an expert reload too, by the way. It's
Bro, it's money.
Wait, is everybody saying yes? I'm kind of.
Yeah, they said yes. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they said yes. So let them on.
Yeah, I just sent him the Tokyo Marai. Yeah, it's the airsoft. Clearly.
Yeah, that's an airsoft gun for sure.
Tokyo Marui.
Today we're gonna do our first giveaway. One blue chem light is prize number 3. If you don't know about the blue chem lights is in the boog if you're a DLDer, if you're a dark light Duganer or a branch Duganian. If you're rocking a blue chem light, it means we won't T-zone your ass. The other thing we'll give away
is
on your ass.
Is his scar heavy? He's giving away his scar heavy.
Yeah,
guys, start freaking throwing in your votes.
No,
now.
but if you have a scar heavy,
I've got a scar heavy
of steel.
Actually, I'm going to say something about that ammo and a scar heavy is the steel cased ammo that jams. Like if you put 1,000 rounds of brass through one, that steel cased ammo, for some reason, as the gun heats up, it kind of like it really gums up in there and you'll jam.
Yeah,
dude.
But I hope you remember, if you can't eat the steel, you don't deserve the brass.
Oh, I see.
This thing will eat steel all day. That's the SIG piston driven 5.56. It's just like if an AK, an MP5, and an AR had a baby. That's what it would be. And my AK.
Cone is giving off that Dugan vibe over there, man. What's up,
Joe?
What's up, brother?
Dugan vibe.
What up, man? Hey, I wanted to tell you guys with ammo, I've noticed that the Ruski ammo's been coming in small amounts, so there must be something with embargo and shipment coming in the United States because it's been in big chains of Tula and Wolf, all the Ruski ammo. So it makes me wonder what kind of embargo did they give a green light to come here?
I bought several thousand rounds of 7.62 by 39 for almost pretty much 2019 prices the other day. I was very pleased.
So
Came
why
in
is
those
that?
cans.
Why is that coming in and not other ones? You know, they give Russia a pass or something?
I don't know.
Like Dugan said, they'll allow the ammunition that they want to come in. When they don't want you to have any more ammo, you're not going to get any more ammo.
Yep. Yeah. Once they cut off the vein, that's it. You ain't getting shit.
Hey, Sigma, we got a little debate going on here. Go back to your airsoft horse.
Okay. I got to find it again. You have no idea how large this file is and how unorganized it is.
1,000.
Sigma's got one of the largest files I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
So I got someone saying that that is not an M92. That's an SLR.
It looked like some 5.45 for some reason. It didn't look like a AK.
So the little debate is
very exotic little AR pistol.
Is it an M92 like Zastava, or is it an Arsenal SLR 104 UR or 106 UR?
Oh wait, I was looking for this one. I know it's not part of your thing, but this is a good meme.
That is true.
I found that on the Mongolian basket weaving forum, which is absolutely brilliant. Whoever made this.
Damn.
I wish I could add freaking memes right now. So bad.
You can.
I can show you how to do it. I'll do it.
I'm on my phone though.
Oh, you're on your phone. Okay, that makes
you know what? I could just go on my other phone and just hold it up to the camera.
Gerchop, bro, if you keep talking about Pacone banning you when he can't even log into his account, we're gonna mute your ass.
Yeah, quit tripping, dog. Hell, I got banned from uploading or going live until March.
You got banned from banning.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even do anything. I can't even undo it if I did ban you somehow. So, what do you want me to do? I mean, you're here and I'm reading your comment now, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
Porn
what?
stars hate him. See how this young guy gets 72 virgins with one trick.
You know what? You can. He's acknowledging you now. So, Gerchop, what would you like him to say to you specifically?
Damn, is this what this is? Is this some like intervention of somebody I freaking banned? Is that what you started?
I mean, we could turn it into that. Let's fixate on him.
Let's find out why. Let's find out why you banned him and what he was going through in his life at that time.
The funny thing is that the people that usually trip out like this, the moment they're on the spot, they're like, "Oh fuck, I didn't think they were gonna actually talk to me," and then they sign out and leave.
Well, I think this summer, I think you guys kicked me out of the Discord for a little bit, and then we had.
We don't. I don't own the Discord. I don't.
No, it's all right. It's all right. But I was just thinking, it worked out in the end. Just gotta stay cool. People do stupid shit. We all do.
Okay.
You're looking very very. What's the word?
So his very prophetic.
Rob Zombie there, man. Very Rob
Zombie,
dude. Yes.
I got a cloak from Varustalika, the Finnish surplus store, and I've been wearing the shit out of that thing.
Bro, I looked them up. They're fucking $100. So his very prophetic response was, "Howa, 308 thoughts?" ?
Watch who you trust.
What is that a picture of? Let me enlarge this, see if I can see that.
Wait, are we supposed to watch who we don't trust?
The guy is trying to adapt somebody in the other car, and it says, "Watch who you trust," and the guy is holding a pistol to the door.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's kind of incriminating, though. If, like, you got caught up in that, and you're pointing a gun at somebody, knowing that they're on the other end. Just saying.
Yeah, I actually did I had an incident in the area that I live in. I'm in Virginia. I'll just say that. And there's some areas that are not so great. And I worked at a gun shop, so I was headed to work, and I open carry, and I open carry when I was at the shop. Right. Aside from that, I always conceal carry. And this dude was just going crazy around me and passing me and doing all this crazy shit in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. And we get to a light and we stop, and I try to like pull up a little bit, and he's being combative and like telling me to roll down the window. So I just very, slowly, quietly, with my shoulder as low as possible, drew my shit and like rested it, right down below. But I saw him, and he rolled down his window. He put one arm out, but he had one arm tucked. And he was like, "You got a problem? You got a problem?" And I was like, "Bro, no problem. Nothing at all." Like, I didn't know, like, did I cut him off? Did I like look at his girl? Did I do something crazy? And anyway,
what did I do to trigger him is what I would be thinking. What did I do to set him off? I must have done something.
Yeah. And I had asked him, I was like, was there something that I did that upset you, or, whatever? And I was like, nothing. And afterwards, after the initial adrenaline of like, am I going to get in a shootout, kind of, wore off when the light turned green and we drove away. Because afterwards, he was like, "You got a problem? All right. Boom. And we drive away." I was like, "Bro, we probably were both just pointing guns at each other just through our car doors for like the last 45 seconds. And you never know, man. It's like that's that thing we talk about with perception, right? Like you never know what's under that curtain,
I try to tell everybody, if you're ever in an altercation, walk the fuck away.
Yeah,
we're not in a fucking war zone.
Yeah, if you let words
out of there,
if you let another man control you with words, they've won.
Right, and if you ever brandish a firearm to scare somebody away or to prove a point, get the fuck out of here, blah, blah, blah. Don't ever do that, because now you just escalated the situation. Just get the fuck out of there. If you can't get out of there,
go to the front.
Do what you have to. Yeah, do what you have to do. Fucking whatever. But don't resort to violence unless you actually are fucking. Your life is in jeopardy. Until then, don't fucking do stupid shit like that. Everybody wants to be Rambo or fucking John Wick. Stop with that fucking shit. That's how you go to jail and lose all your fucking rights.
Well,
Fucking do you. Go home to your family or go home and start a family.
everybody that wants to get into some type of conflict or some type of shootout or whatever has never been in a conflict or shootout. Like
They glorify it until there's actual blood on their fucking hands. And then they're fucking scared as shit.
yeah.
It's not right.
The moment that they get that shock of actual conflict, they'll wish they never fucking all these people that are like, oh man, the boog needs to start. We just need to start, the boog. Like do you even have any fucking idea what you are like begging for?
Well, the fact that we all carry guns on us, we have to keep our cool and composure and de-escalate as much as possible because we have a lot of responsibility every day we walk out.
Exactly. Because what's behind that person is also affected. But there's a quote from a show that I like called Letterkenny. I like Trailer Park Boys also for all my Canadians up there. But Letterkenny's also another Canadian one. And one of the one-liners that they have is, if you've ever been in a real fight, you wouldn't be so keen to get into another.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I always believe the stories that people tell me when they've gotten their ass kicked rather than all the asses they've kicked.
Let's talk about stories where we got our ass kicked.
Oh God, there's quite a few on my end, but
let's not do that.
Both walked away.
We don't give food for the trolls to get us later with. We got 1,000 viewers instead of 100.
The only fights I've ever lost face to face is between me and my wife, and I never threw a punch. Just got black eyes.
Yeah, let's give it up to the viewers.
Is that a chia pet, Pacone?
Yeah, it's a fake tree. It's where I got all my kerosene fuel for my kerosene heater, dude.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
Oh,
you swallowed this kerosene heater, dude. It's been awesome, man.
Oh,
hey, there's
the viewers. If you get a chia pet head, take all your chia pet seeds and spread it over your black rifle or your pistol, and just hang it up on the wall and let it grow like a chia pet. Nobody will ever be the wiser.
There's this scene from a show called The Expanse.
I love The Expanse.
Season.
Oh my God, yes.
And I don't want to send out a spoiler, so I'm going to be vague about it, but there's an encounter with a survivalist on Earth. Have you seen that scene?
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to take that scene sometime and dissect it, because that would probably get us different viewers if we were to tag The Expanse into this and, go through it. It'd be like interesting how Hollywood's trying to portray people that are prepared as bloodthirsty, because I mean, it's not like I don't really see anybody wanting to just straight up murk somebody that comes onto their property. They're obviously trying to portray survival preppers in a negative light and get that message in there. And we should definitely push back on that, because, if we were to sit there and tag one of these videos with something like that, we would probably get some of the Expanse viewers that are in the normie sphere, and be able to, maybe start a discussion with that. That would be, more timber for our little signal fire here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think more survivalists are more team players than they are lone wolves wanting to just scavenge for themselves.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'd go insane if I was alone. Like the whole point of the little groups I'm clicked up with is we maintain libraries on how to reboot everything, from building power generators to everything you can imagine, and being able to reboot it from scratch. And that's the whole point, is human resources ultimately need to be reclaimed, and like that's the ultimate disrespect done to us as a population, is the alteration of history, because that doesn't allow any of us to learn from all of our shared experiences through our journey together. And that's the ultimate crime. And that's also why I think people like ourselves should probably think about producing some more entertainment material, because that's what makes Dugan such a threat, is his entertainment material is quite excellent. Like I show it to people. I have a chance to sometimes hang out with some real nosebleed left-wingers on the West Coast. And I know I'm going to be bringing his material with me next time to sit there and put it in front of their noses and see see what type of pushback I get. Because, I don't think all those people are totally evil. I think that they're just, a lot of them are just misguided. And sometimes I wonder if there is really, other than the ones we know that have sold out, that are pretty obviously in the business. Like I had a guy send me this about Fauci. If you look at the meaning of his name, it's like the priceless one or something like, and I don't want to go too schizo here, so stop me if I'm going too far. But actually, shoot, I wish I had one of you guys on a messenger. I would link it to you, but
you can text it to me.
Yeah, it's rather long, but anyway, his name translates into interesting things.
Light's cell phone number is 3.
Oh, that. All right. You had me go in there. So stop. We're on the fucking YouTube. So no.
Don't worry. Every time I send out a PDF, I give your address, bro.
Yeah.
You got my address? I'd be surprised.
No, not yours. I give Dark's address as the return address.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I've been doing some research on since this winter storm has come in, and a lot of people have lost electricity and power.
Yeah.
And I've learned something a little bit, even using the kerosene, but going with wood burning. I still think wood burning is the best to go with, or even pellets, because you can get a big ass bag for $5 and just use it in a wood burner. And I've been researching on what's the best cost efficient way to get it installed in the house. And what I found out is that you can actually contact an HVAC guy, and they can install it for you.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I went on. I didn't know that you can contact an HVAC guy and say, "Hey, I'm putting in a wood. All you really need is a circular drill. Punch out the wall, make sure there's no studs, and then get a metal pipe and a fascia for it. Yeah, a heat shield. And so far, out of all the ones I've found, there's one on Etsy, and it's an ammo can.
I've seen those,
dude. And I'm telling you, the trick is you just place brick on the bottom or something on the floor. But I'm telling you, you can cook on it. You can throw pellets in it. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can heat your house with it. And the pellets are cool because that's at least one of the things the industry is doing, that is recycling material. So it's not wasted. And what they're doing is all lumber that's used to build houses, that's waste, they collect it and do some type of process to turn it into pellets. So it's not wasted.
Basically, they sawdust it up.
Yep.
And they put it in a heater and a press it's a heating press.
Yep.
And they extrude it. Now, Pacone, here's one for you. I mentioned this either on a podcast or a live stream or both. One thing that I've been looking into is taking cardboard and paper, newspaper, just basically any paper materials. You put in like a 55-gallon drum or a 5-gallon bucket with a concrete mixer on your 12-volt drill, whatever it may be, slurry it up, and then you put a bottle jack, a PVC pipe with another one on the inside with holes drilled in it. You compress it, get as much water out as you can, let it dry off, and now you actually have paper pellets and paper fire logs.
Yeah, so it's condensed and burnable.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, with this winter storm, even if somebody just had that ammo can set up with a couple bags, couple bags of those pellets, and had that in their house, dude, you could at least heat water. You can cook with it. You can shower because you can heat water and use one of the shower systems. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many uses that can get you off the dependency of the grid. Think about how much electricity you can save just by using wood burning for up until the spring. You know what I'm saying?
The only downside about that stove is it's a little expensive, and I saw the DIY to be able to make it yourself.
$150. That's how much it is on Etsy. Yeah, it's $150 on Etsy.
It's not too bad.
No.
One thing that I would also recommend is like a rocket stove, and that's literally like 2 or 3 pieces of square tubing or square pipe, about yay big, and you can make a rocket stove, which is also a heater also, and you can take it down to anybody who can weld. the muffler welder, metal shop over here, couple of beads of weld, maybe 15-20 bucks if you have the metal, and they'll probably even cut it out for you. But literally square tubing, 3 inch, 4 inch, something like that. Freaking awesome. I mean, you can do so many different things for the cheap. And 150 bucks is expensive in my opinion. I know that's not that expensive, but I try to find as many things that I can do for free 99 as possible. And if it's going to cost me money, at least I can find certain supplies and reduce my cost just by having the metal, cutting it myself and bringing it somewhere and just having somebody just weld up a couple of beads here and there, and we're good to go.
You need a
And
box
what?
with a vent hole and a chimney. I mean, it can
Yep.
be done with a lot of things. But the
Mhm.
point is that once you have it in your house, it makes a big difference, man. That whole sense of not relying on the grid, just the fact that you can burn shit in your house and heat food with it. It's a big deal. Most people don't experience that. We all can.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that is that's a game changer. Like if you look at the main things, like how, okay, if we are going to be manipulated and are being manipulated, but if those things that we've been put on the tit are going to be removed, right? Like we are a plug away from being pulled to lose water, electricity, and gas, heat, everything. And now, right now, we're getting, the plug of firearms, ammunition, armor, defensive cutlery, like all that shit is, being reduced at best, and overpriced. So how can we take some of those things back? Well, you can heat your home, you can cook food, you can, like, dude, that's an excellent place to start. Now you nail water, man. You could be a lone wolf, you could be the gray man.
And just remember, the carpet in your house is a great heat conductor.
Yeah, after it's
Don't ever
clean.
light your carpet on in your house on fire.
Yeah,
No, I was just kind of laughing in my own head. I think it was Donut Operator or Brendan Herrera. Somebody mentioned that they were installing a sprinkler system in their yard, a gasoline sprinkler
gasoline
system.
sprinkler. Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought that was an ingenious idea.
that's
I'm
kind
just
of
saying.
the apocalypse joke. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
gasoline. It's like the Claymore Roomba, BD, one of the things you can do is look in your area. So he's saying, how do I buy land for cheap and I'm super broke? Here's what you do. Go in your area, and if you know someone
Owner financing.
if you know someone, that could be a great way to start. If you know someone that is in mortgage, that would be a great person to talk to. But land is different from like traditional residential mortgages. But essentially, look for grants in your area. Most places in rural areas are begging to get rid of land. So there are,
Agricultural grants for farming, for cattle raising, and you can have the bare minimum, which I think is 1 cow an acre, if you're able to get into cattle. And if it's not cattle, I want to say it's like 4 to 6 sheep per acre. And if the grant is not for that and it's for farming, you literally don't even have to sell anything. You can just literally farm for your own self with those agricultural grants, as long as the land is being used for what that grant was intended. And some of those grants you don't have to pay back, or if you do have to pay back, they are interest free with low payback payments. Other ones, as long as you follow the guidelines, literally you get it. And if you're married, or there's a minority in your household, this or that, if they apply for it, they have a better chance of getting it and even getting better perks out of it, to be able to get those kind of grants. I used to do this for ag for the states. I've dealt with ag internationally, shipping, different countries and this country. I'll tell you right now, there's a ton of federal grants out there for ag. And Dark, thank you for saying that, because I would have forgot about saying anything like that for a while now.
Yeah, I don't want to give up anything. I almost mentioned some specific loan products, but I think they're specific for my area, so that would like loan me into a, you know, you all right?
Sorry, dude, that was a power long one.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But yeah, I mean, there's a grant in my area where if you purchase something that is X amount of miles away from X, then they'll give you up to $10,000 in closing costs, and it is a grant, and that's it. As long as you fulfill the income requirements, you're good. Even if the next day you started a job making more money outside of the requirements, you still don't have to pay it back.
Hey, Dark, can I chime in? Because I was in the mix a couple months ago selling my house and looking for property too, so I kind of got an idea a little bit.
For sure.
I can chime in. First of all, when one of your commenters was saying, I'm broke, but I want land, here's the thing. You got to have a good credit score, okay? And if you don't have a good credit score, to get financing is pretty much impossible. Saying that, now is a good time because the market is really good.
Owner financing if you have shitty ass credit.
Yeah, here's the deal. This is all you got to do is don't care that it's close. Just pick your state, and if it's a 4-hour drive, it's a 4-hour drive. If it's a 3-hour, it's a 3-hour. And you find somewhere that's selling at least 1 acre, okay? You want to find out what the price per acre is, okay? You can most likely, depending on where you look, find at least, for the most part of America, $3 to $4 grand an acre, okay? And there's ones that are cheaper, but I'm just saying, on an average, you'll probably find that. Now, that would be a payment that would actually be less than a car. So, like, your car payment, if you financed a car for $300 or $3,000, you're looking at about, if you got a good credit score,
$75 a month.
Maybe for a car it'd be like $150 on a good credit score, maybe $75. Just depends on how long you stretched it out. If you did a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, for the most part, financing a house or a car, or a house or land, it seems cheaper almost for what you're getting than a car payment. So, for instance, like I'm open about how much I pay for my mortgage on my house. But right now, if any of you guys own a house, if you haven't refinanced and you plan on staying there, now's the time to do it, man. Because anything to cut costs and to make your monthly payment lower, who cares, right?
You're talking sub 3% right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, if you're a veteran, any guys here who's online, if you're a veteran, even if you're prior service, it's 2.2% interest. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's good interest.
I got a better percentage through federal housing.
You shopped around, didn't you?
Yeah, believe it or not, I still have my VA loan available.
Well, see, that's the thing, Light.
USDA loan.
Right, that's the thing, Light, is that if all these guys are wondering about having something of substance for something that's material, and being a homeowner or even a landowner it really steps you up into the realm of independence, man. It's a step, because your house, Dark's house, my house, Sigma, if he owns a house, if you sell it and you own it in a few years, you can make money. So you could make payments on a house for a few years, turn it around, sell it, and then you could try to use that money to see if you want to what do they call it when people go away, off-grid living? They keep it minimalist lifestyle. You can get a chunk of change and say, all right, where do I go from here? And I think owning land and then slowly, like Dugan said, is slowly build something on it. And I see all these guys with college debt still working normal jobs. And how much is college debt usually for a kid after 4 years?
Like 50 plus.
50 grand? And what are their payments usually looking like? Is it worse than... What's your interest? What is
like $400 or $500 bucks?
$400 or $500 a month for 50 grand?
Something like that.
Wow! And what are they? How long do they usually have to pay it off for?
They normally allow them to extend and extend and extend. because there is no way to be able to get out of that debt.
Okay,
Yeah.
so listen to this then. What if you got out of high school and worked at a job, paid for an apartment, and did something that you could build your credit score? Usually, it's just making a car payment for 3 years, getting a car completely paid off. Okay, yeah, because if you start dancing around a 600 credit score, there's going to be somebody that'll work with you your first home purchase. Imagine. You said 50 grand. Imagine spending $5 grand on 1 acre, and then you got 45K to homestead, to build your home, to get everything hooked up, and your payments would probably be $400 a month,
Mm-hmm.
$500 a month. That's achievable, and it's yours.
Yep.
You know, and then
And you're not paying for rent.
Oh, dude, if you had a home, anybody here, if you have a homestead, you get it going, or where I don't care if it's just a trailer, like a camper trailer, and it's got water and electric hookup to it, and with 1 acre, dude, the fact that you own that for a few years and there's hookups makes the value of it go up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm telling you, man, if you can try to buy and make payments on an acre of land, there's so much opportunity that you can even let other people do.
If you get out into just kind of thinking about, I was looking at buying a cheap house way off the beaten path, and I was looking at places, and some of them were super stupid cheap, like $20,000-$30,000 for a house and land. But you are 2 hours away from any city of any size, and the road access there is a dirt road. I'm driving my car, right? It's a front wheel drive car. I don't have a truck. And I remember coming up on these muddy roads, and I'm like basically building up enough momentum to where I could like slide across the mud.
But you did it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Stuck, did you?
Yeah, I didn't get stuck, but I mean, I will eventually get stuck. I need to get a fucking truck. I was telling, I think one of you guys about it earlier, earlier today. I got stuck 4 times in the snow, but I'm actually one of the guys that's probably the least prepared. Like, I understand in theory I need to be off the grid, but like,
no. The theory isn't to be off the grid. The theory is to have something to start with. It all starts with something. You got to start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My protocol last year when all this kicked off.
Yeah.
I was talking to this construction guy who's really seedy and is a real piece of shit, but he's clicked up with the Democrats. Anyway, he was like, "What are you buying all these groceries for?" This is back in January of 2020. And I was running out with like 2 or 3 grocery carts filled with like canned food, a lot of canned fruit, different things like that.
Canned fruit make you go a long ways, man, if you got a little bit of canned fruit, you know?
Yeah. I basically went to the house I grew up in that nobody's lived in 20 years. And we got the water pump working again. And then
that's awesome.
I stocked that place up like as fat as a tick with food, supplies. And then I'm like, yeah, if things really do truly go to shit, I'll bug out over here.
Why don't you work on that as your project?
Well, I have, but like it's still pretty close to a main road, like an interstate, and it's enough to where at some point you can almost see the anger towards white supremacists and stuff. And I get called racist all the time now. And I've already been for the last 5 years told, well, your opinion only matters so much because you're white. And I'm extremely white, right?
You are a cis white male.
That's right. And I could tell that the psychological preparation for violence seems to have been met for a lot of these guys. And like I'm looking at an article right now, Washington Post. It's from today, and it's a left-wing extremist. So FBI warned about far-right attacks. Agents arrested a leftist ex-soldier. If you read into it, they arrested him because he was planning to attack racist mobs with every caliber. Yeah, he's posted about this. And you can tell that these guys are already initialized and that racists pull lower than pedophiles. People hate them more on average. And the perception of racism has been greatly expanded. And, I think that if you look at the entertainment media, which I still am addicted to, I love theater, I love entertainment. And I've watched the storylines. I kick it with people that write TV shows, right? And I'm always kind of questioned. It was like, why do you put these tropes in? It's like you're purposefully. What's this of? What, I can't read the caption.
Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet are covered in tattoos, but not Juan. Juan will fucking kill you.
I'm sorry. If somebody comes and knocks on my door at 2 a.m. like that, I'm just probably gonna not
Dude,
answer.
those South American prisons are hardcore.
My Lord and Savior.
Well, they bitch mark people involuntarily on the streets if you don't click up. So, I mean, there is that mitigating factor to them. Like I've seen some documentaries on it, but still, like I've been in jail once, and I was in a little holding area, like not prison. I was just held overnight, and it was like a little holding area, and there's like the violent wing, and then there's non-violent. Well, in the holding area, they mix the two. And I was talking to this guy, and he's got face tattoos. And he said, "Yeah, I'm on my way back to state prison for my second tent." He's armed robbery, right? He's a wiry black guy, and he's got tattoos all over his face. And I'm just sitting there, and we're just chit-chatting. It's us. Thankfully, it's just us inside the pod, because, you know, that means he doesn't have to, like, pose for anybody or anything like that. And I was able to get a lot of insight into prison culture. So, yeah, I got these my last time in there. And, you know, it's sometimes involuntary. I was like, sucks, man. And the OG Crips and Bloods that run the radio stations in the larger cities that transmit music to the poor black community, they purposefully want to keep them illiterate. I used to troll them. I used to go to these bars where they were there, and I would troll them because our bartender's this former teacher, right? She's left wing as shit, and like I'm just basically making them call me racist for trying to say we need to make sure that all the black kids could read, because I went to those same schools, and they are illiterate, and the smart black male children are ostracized and viciously berated by their peers. And it's disgusting. And what they want to do is they want to keep a large amount of individuals that have to transfer through a choke point to learn about their world. And it's controlled by these captains, these mid-level guys that are in these organized crime systems that we can't even talk about, because I'm going to have to say, hey, look, it's a black gang. And you're automatically racist if you're starting to use these adjectives. It's sort of like us talking about Jews earlier in the entertainment community.
No racist, man.
Hey, Sigma, you know, I did research, and I can't remember the link or what the name of the video was, but it was somewhere back in the 80s. There was a business deal between rap industry and prison systems.
I don't know. I don't know.
I've heard of something like that.
I can't remember
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you said you heard it?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. It's been a while since I've looked into it. I've heard about it, so I really can't. But it is a tick in my mind that I can remember.
The breeding program they're doing right now for a lot of races is covert, but the black has been overt for a long time, and not enough human beings have spoken out about it.
You talking about a breeding program?
Well, yeah, they're cutting. We're all, dude. People aren't getting married now. People are having less children. We're turning into Japan slowly.
Yeah, certain sectors.
So, like I've made the comment. Everybody's heard the same comment. Idiocracy was a satire, and it turned into a documentary. But has anybody heard Run from Run DMC? His I got the vaccine. You get the vaccine.
Bro, that was so Uncle Tom, man.
Don't question your doctor. Hold on.
That was New World Order Uncle Tom shit right there.
Can you hear that?
Jesus, what a sellout.
I wonder what debt he owed to have to do that. He owed something.
Hey, but a suggestion, Picone, if you ever have to talk about DMC being a sellout, don't use the term Uncle Tom and mixed company. Just call them a sellout. Because, you don't want to use Uncle Tom, because then they'll be like, you're appropriating our speech. You just don't even want to cross that bridge if you don't have to.
Oh, speaking about...
It still is true either way.
No.
It is. Sellout's the better word to use, though.
No, I'm done right here. We need to stop about cultural appropriation, because Ilhan Omar has appropriated Alabama culture.
I understand
married her brother.
I understand that, but you know, I'm just trying to come up with like little things to make us a little bit more palatable. Hey, do you know who Rodrigo Duterte is? He's the president of the Philippines, and I happen to like a lot of what he does. My buddies down in the Philippines tell me the Aquinos sold out to the Chinese big time, and a lot of people like this guy because he ran this city in the southern Philippines that had a bunch of Muslim militants near it for a long time, and he's hardcore.
Oh, I saw the war zone in the Philippines. Like, it blew my freaking mind.
Yeah. Duterte is a hell of a guy. Now, mind you, him and Obama didn't get along, and he's very, skeptical of the U.S. because, we sanction him and stuff a little bit right now. But interesting fella. And I like this particular quotation because, he says a lot of stuff in English. Like he'll be giving a speech in Tagalog, but then he'll and just a random fact, Pepe in Tagalog is pussy. So, just make sure you don't talk too much about
no. Peck Peck is pussy.
Yeah.
Because
I had somebody tell me. I had a Filipino the other day tell me that, or well, I thought it was Pepe, but 2 days ago, this told
because they told me go over to this girl over here, Nung, which is also Filipino, and I had a crush on her, and they were like, yeah, just say, hey, Nung, will you ever take me back home and give me some local peck juice? I was like, yeah, okay. I went over there, interesting.
Oh yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's a pretty wide variety of dialects. But the Barry Reading guy says, "Super conspiracy time. Thoughts on FPS Russia's business partner's murder."
Oh,
do we know anything about that shit?
Yes, he committed.
I did a video on that on my channel.
He shot himself twice in the back of the head.
Yeah. So we're pretty sure he didn't kill himself.
If you guys watch the documentary that was kind of low budgeted and independently done, and there was typing for the description in the video, when he asked the wife what happened, she didn't give who did it or what does she think happened. All he recorded was her holding back her tears, and then that was it. So it's like she knows more to it, and FPS Russia pretty much said, "Hey, just stop talking about it, move on."
Originally, I wanted to bring FPS Russia on here because he stole one of Dugan's things from one of his videos with the whole, ham sandwich and all that shit in his AK. And then I started watching his new thing that he's on with a couple of other guys. I don't want to give the name of the channel, but started watching more and more into it. You know what? I honestly don't want to have that guy on here, and it's just on how he presents himself. He is a materialist, in my opinion, and it doesn't look like he really wants to add or help anybody else out. It's just,
hey, he did time. He did some hard time. He did 30 days and time out. He did some hard time.
Oh, man.
So I'm not really interested in ever having him on here, but genuine people that have some type of self-sufficiency or some type of knowledge to pass out, I'd be willing to help out. Mr. James Reeves, we were freaking exuberant.
Well, you could always have a confrontational talk with him and just kind of give him a heads up. It's like, hey, if you come on, but we're probably gonna check you a little bit because there's a few things you've done. That'd be interesting if he'd submit himself to that.
If I had James Reeves on here with us right now, I would probably be I would be one of the ones that'd be asking some pressing questions about SIG firearms right now. So,
yeah, you would mention that.
Yeah, well, it was posted on the article. I mean,
yeah, that Paul Harrell guy is really great. He's very,
oh my God,
he's very straightforward.
Hold on, guys, sorry. Real quick. Continue what you were saying. Sorry, guys. Listen.
Ron Cohen, well, first of all, it's posted on their website. So, I mean, if you want to discuss something of the matter that's controversial, it's on their website. And it was about Ron Cohen, the former Mossad, who works for SIG Firearms and is the conglomerate of TFB TV, no politics, just guns, is, getting charged with war crimes in Germany for selling weapons to the Mexican drug cartels that came through the SIG Firearms in the United States, all during Fast and Furious, while we get blamed for it. We're the bad guys because of, gun store loopholes or some dumb shit, and we get blamed, and SIG Firearms is doing that and gets untouched, but then there's a alleged allegedly he's been arrested in Germany, and there's already been people who had court sessions who were silenced, who were suicided. So this is some big shit mixed up with SIG and freaking corruption, you know?
That's interesting because it represents one of their attack vectors they want to use here. Like if you look at HR 127, one of the parts is they want to hold the gun makers and tactical dealers. Like if you were to go shoot up somewhere and you wear body armor, they're going to make you liable for the crime that was committed with stuff bought from you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like them trying to dissuade people from even dealing in this stuff.
Or or shipment gets cut off, and all we get's what Motherland Switzerland says we can get here, right? We can get some Sieg Heil firearms again.
Bro, that's
so
why.
If you guys are gonna do something stupid, don't use a firearm. Go to Enterprise Rental Vehicles or Hertz Rent a Vehicle.
Yeah. We can't tell
Let's
people.
get them out of business. I know it's a joke. It's dark humor.
You'd be surprised.
I'm
like,
sorry.
Couple things.
Somebody out there right
got
now
some
is
pretty
trying
good
to rent the
transport.
Light, it's too hard to resist.
Right now.
It's too hard to resist, Light. I know it, man.
Dude,
I know, but I mean, if they're gonna incriminate firearm manufacturers, they might as well incriminate the gasoline company for somebody who
or
starts
Apple for not unlocking a phone for the San Bernardino shooters.
Freaking anything under the sun, a baseball bat, freaking a nail.
Well, actually, hands, feet, and hammers have killed more people than assault weapons in the United States.
So technically, if you beat somebody to death with your hands, do your mom and dad and your grandparents also have to pay?
No.
Easy, don't give them ideas. Easy, don't give them ideas.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably write an article saying that a man beat some other guy to death and his boxing coach is indicted.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, the peanut company.
6 degrees to separation of slavery.
The peanut farmer is going to jail because your kid has allergies.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. New York Times retracts debunked story about Officer Sicknick's death. Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Hammers
Sigma. I don't know if I told you. There apparently is some news going around saying that there's audio recording of congressmen or House representatives talking about setting up the Senate riot, the taking over the Capitol, literally talking about it and setting it up days in advance.
I'll look around for it. But the sad thing is we've got a delta here. You have to have enough time for the amount of people that need to learn of this for it to be meaningful. And that's what the media guards with their suppression tactics and the state that they want people to default to. So if anybody here in the audience were to want to go take a little baseline test of the optimal normie and standby mode, go to your local head shop and talk to the people there. They're nice people. A lot of them are very knowledgeable, witty people, but they're highly apathetic. And that is the base state that the average person is supposed to get into. Because at that point, when you're super apathetic, super nihilistic, you're not going to be tempted to commit energy towards, for instance, Light looking into a Capitol Hill shooting. Because, that's just big politics. There's nothing I can do to change that. And what they do keep you in is they're able to positively motivate you. So like one day, this same apathetic person can be paid a certain amount of money and he may go do a job and he will be willing to do that. But, the whole point is about putting people into positions to where they can be controlled. And that's what I hope we're in the business of trying to do, is to not just physically tell you how to take care of yourself, but mentally as well, to remain, independent of this insidious system we're living in.
You know how you get mental clarity? Is having purpose and having some type of physical release, exercise, being on your purpose. I think this COVID thing is keeping men from people in general from following some type of purpose, making it harder.
Yep, dude. This last year has, and I'm grateful for it in a way, because for about 5 years I led 4 different large multi-million-dollar companies, and was just on the money tit, man. And I was totally sleeping. Like I had no idea. And in January 2019, I started to wake up and lost my job in March. And dude, from there, everything changed. Like I wish if I could go back and change anything when I was making like stupid money, I wish that I used that money against the machine. You know what I mean? Like if I could have used it.
That's wishful thinking. They just would have plugged you in the back of the head with a 22 like they did old friggin'.
Well, they just sort of fired you, and you'd have been neutralized. Just hindsight's always 20/20. Just use your knowledge and move forward.
I know.
Hey, you know what though? You were aware of the problem, and look where the Lord brought you, man. Isn't it feel good to know that you don't have ties to that beast, and you're living an honest life now?
Oh, dude, it's total clarity. I mean, it's still,
makes you appreciate anything you have now because you've been there before.
Bro, I've been going on to for all you guys, whether you're in need or whether you want to help people in need, go to it's Facebook, but there are groups called Buy Nothing groups. So there's like Buy Nothing Atlanta, Buy Nothing Frederick, Maryland, Buy Nothing Fort Lauderdale, whatever, and you just post stuff. And I've just been posting stuff and giving things, like really nice things, like $120 North Face jackets that I bought for my daughter that like she didn't need. She's already grown out of them. There was no reason for me to put $100 jacket on a 3-year-old, And
you know why that's symbolic? It's to sever attachments to materialism.
Yeah.
And the intent is genuine because it's to service to others instead of service to self.
Dude, and that is exactly. I have been blessing as many people as I can with like, shit that I don't need anymore, and it's shit that is helping a lot of families that are local in my area. And I just got the notification that the laptop is about to die. We got 5% left. So give back to people around you. Prepare as much as you can. Become as self-sustainable as possible. We've been telling you guys this. I know it's hard to take big steps, so take small, little baby steps each day, and focus on water.
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a motherfucking time. I just eat, but
yeah, like Dark was saying,
hey, Dark.
On your water, focus on your heating. Let's go small steps at a time. Go ahead, Pacone.
Oh, it's my Asperger's, man. I apologize. I contacted, would you want to have Mike Garantham on here?
Dude, we asked him to come on here, and he didn't respond to me on Instagram.
Okay, well, hang on.
He did respond.
He knows I'm a real nib, so hang on a second. He knows better than the ghost, this guy.
Yo, tell him, like, you responded to him, and then you didn't. He was like, how much effort we talking about? I was like, dude, virtually zero effort, because he's a big Carnicon fan.
Yeah.
And,
who did you work for?
Me, personally?
Yeah, what was the industry you worked for, so he'd probably know?
It's probably not. It was a local gun shop in my area, but
so you worked for a gun shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I say the name, it'll totally put out my location.
Oh no, don't worry about it. Let me see.
I worked directly. I worked direct. Like I ordered all from SIG, Glock, AccuSports, like all the big, what do you call it? Vendors, distributors rather. Sorry.
Oh, I'm replying to him now to get his attention.
Tell him that it is with Dugan Ashley.
That's what I'm doing right there.
Yeah. And tell him that I'm very offended. I'm playing. I mean, he did, in his defense, he did respond to me, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down." Or no, he said, "How much effort are we talking?" And I was like, "Virtually zero. I'll send you a link. You come on, talk."
Yeah. This is what I said. I said, could you be a guest on a podcast I watch? James Reeves was on there recently. It would give the like-minded some hope. and I said, it'd be you and Dugan. Dugan Ashley's on there a lot. We would like you two to chat. And
Awesome.
I'll reply with, don't be a pussy. Give me an answer.
Yeah.
In a few days.
And tell them the name too. And tell them it's Dark Light Dugan.
All right. Dark Light Dugan.
I just got some information in the chat that says one of our former guests, Lobi Vodi, is FBI. I know. I'm just reading the way he spelled it.
What guess?
Hey, we want to try to on. I think it was our first 4-person, 5-person live stream.
That's cool.
But no, we do want to have Johnny B if we can. We want to try to build up a repertoire of people. And yes, I saw somebody mention that the James Reeves live stream was a little dry. It is what it is. If we
Just
get a
give them
bigger guest
approach.
on here,
Give
we're
them
not
a
gonna
chance to get on, man.
right.
Yeah.
Right, we're not gonna beat them up or anything else like that, but we want to work within their boundaries so they don't lose revenue, and we can help maybe open up the eyes of some of their fans and stuff like that nature. I mean, we just want to be able to try to reach out the best we can, and also provide information. And we're not trying to be an entertainment channel, but at the same time, with the kamikaze commentary. Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we're, diving into other things, but we just primarily want to get out information and reach as many people as we can. And we're not trying to scare people off, and we're not trying to oust ourselves. We want to be able to start building a bigger platform for everybody to be a part of, but also not shill at the same time and be like, oh, we bow down to this. No, we just won't push somebody if they don't want to go past a certain point. It is what it is.
We're not doing this to make any money. We're not doing this we're not monetizing this shit. We're not monetizing the podcast. We're doing this to disseminate information. So when we have someone like James Reeves on, like Light said, the goal is just to have a conversation and not to put James Reeves on to our typical conversation. Just like Light said, if we get the opportunity then for James Reeves subscribers and followers to find our other content and to listen, and they are able to wake up and that is a huge opportunity. So I understand that you guys may think oh, you didn't even ask him about the boog. You didn't, it wasn't about that. Yeah.
Hey, Dark, I can help you out too to help anchor from this wind sail a little bit. You got to think, man. The fact that they're coming to small channels. Hello?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Oh, my bad. I was watching.
Yeah, we hear you.
One. Okay. The fact that they're giving. I was being a dummy watching the YouTube live stream and it's delayed, and I'm like watching and it's muted so that way I don't get an echo. I just did a big dummy cherry move. Anyways, so the fact that James, a big YouTuber, is coming on here is a good sign that they're willing to give the small channels a shot, man. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that treat them in this information war like an elusive buck, okay? We don't need to be spooking the big bucks, because the big bucks have more seeds to be planted that'll see this. They're like-minded. And, learn from my lesson. Don't be abrasive and speak with venom. Sometimes to get people in, you got to be kind and gesturing. You know what I mean? So, but so it's a good thing to see that.
And one thing that I've told James Reeves, and I've also told Matt from CRS, is literally I want to try to build up a group of people where we can, bounce off of each other and try to help each other out, and our subscribers. But at the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about being able to pass on a message for people to become better, to
Right.
help themselves out and not rely on anybody else. So, the more people we incorporate, the more people we want to, and I'm not saying, make a coalition or anything else like that, but there's a group of people that are willing to chat with us and be a part of this.
Right.
And, those same people are willing to work with other people. So Matt from CRS Firearms gave us a freaking great shout out a couple of times. He's helped us out. I like his channel. He's doing some fun things
He's a smart
and
kid,
some
isn't he?
informative things. And I also put him in contact with James Reeves. So here within, a month or two, they're going to have a collaboration. So,
Wonderful.
it's one of those where if we can keep on building connections, it
And
will help us
contributing
out
to
at the end of the day, which will help all of y'all out.
Yeah.
Well, I guess all that anger is getting alleviated to see the total outcome from all this. Maybe it struck a chord where they had to get more grassroots. There is just, I'm sure it did something.
Yeah, I see a lot of people sending in some recommendations. So what I would recommend that y'all do is email either darklightdugan@gmail.com or thedarkestmavis@gmail.com. Send any emails of people that you want us to get on. We have already reached out to Johnny B, Garantham, to a lot of the big
I got an idea.
speakers.
Just kind of occurred to me while we were sitting here talking.
Yeah.
I think that we should try to do some algorithm breaking stuff where we grab people who aren't even in the firearms stream and take any random firearm guy we get,
Hillary Clinton.
and then maybe not Hillary Clinton, but maybe the former governor of Illinois, that guy, the one that went to jail. I might try to see if I can wrestle him up. And then that would be a strange podcast because he's a Democrat that got stabbed in the back by his own dude. He knows their playbook. He's kind of pissed off. He got pardoned.
He
by
might
Trump.
have some horror stories.
I know. And then you get him talking to all these types of people.
Tell us.
And then the audience that's here is only maybe 100, 200, maybe sometimes I've heard 400 people. And that's a pretty small group. And that means we could still have a very good communication flow, because when these streams get to the point where they're just massive, they're on, you can't really get a lot of the
you can't manage it.
People people fall through the cracks. Probably some of the best questions out there are just gone. And if you guys really want to just or get like a random,
I've seen those streams, they just right through.
Or just let's find a random B or C grade left winger who's willing to come and talk to us, who believes in all the Kool-Aid stuff, and then we'll have to just sit there and really remind ourselves to be polite and to really try to over time, if you were to do that regularly, just see what would happen. I don't know. It might be a little too much.
Funny that you say that. We actually may have somebody.
No.
Algorithm is a good thing to see how we can combat against get the word out.
And also just to over time, if they become a regular, this person that maybe we disagree with, we could hopefully, but I was talking to somebody, they have a daughter that wants to be
bring their fan base in here, and open their eyes.
Well, this person's estranged from their daughter, and the daughter wants to be a guy, right? It's becoming a kind of an issue there. And I said, well, the way to do this is you've got to spend more time than you've ever spent with this person. And you can't just immediately press them to change. You have to really become relatable, and you got to beat through the propaganda, because that they're relying on you not being around. And it's such a difficult thing. And that's the same conditioning stuff we're looking at in some of these people that are willing to dehumanize us and think that they should take our independence away from us, because we're caricatures to them. We are the stereotypes that they think we think they are.
Well, so that's why honestly, a lot of the people that we're talking about getting on here are right wingers, right? So maybe we should, like you said, expand, because what's the worst that can happen? People in any political affiliation, they're going to see the value in homesteading and creating independence. And once they have that sinking feeling in their stomach of, oh my God, I go through every day thinking that I'm in control of my whole life and that I'm experiencing true ownership, when the reality is that I don't actually control my water. I don't actually control my gas, my heat, my electric, my food, my all that shit. You know? All right, guys,
Yo.
I have to cut it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Marcus, yes, that is the email, darklightdugan@gmail or the darkest mavis. One thing I want to say is I would love to have, you know how they have CQB training? I would love for a CQB training with people who don't believe in firearms ownership, that want, you know, people to have no gun rights, this and that. And you have to fight off people trying to invade your house, or this scenario like an escape room, something like that, from the time that you call or you get the banging or glass breaking, you call up and you have to wait the 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes for somebody to show up, and see how long it takes for, you know, people to invade your house, take over, beat you, hurt you, rape you, whatever it may be. I'm not saying any of those scenarios would happen, but basically like tag and you're done. Are the cops here? No. What could you do to protect yourself? Because, you know, one person, two people, three people, people need to open their eyes. You are your only protection for yourself, and you are the only protection for your family. That is it. Your neighbor's not going to save you. The cops aren't going to save you. You will save you. If you have a neighbor like me, you're in better hands. If you have a neighbor like Dark Sigma Pacone, you're in better hands. But you don't have neighbors like us,
No,
and
I'll
we
probably
can't be
sleep
up at
through it.
3 or yeah. You can. We're not going to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So I mean, you might get got, but you know, open your freaking eyes, man. And you know, we love all of y'all. We don't want anybody to hurt anybody, but at the same time, protect yourself and open your eyes to what's going on, man. That's all I have to say. I love y'all.
Appreciate it, man. All right. Anyone else have anything else to close it out?
Be
I got
grateful,
nothing.
everyone. Be grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. Be grateful, as this day was made for you.
John Kimball, you're an asshole, bro. If I have a neighbor like Doug, I'm gonna have to put alarms on my copper.
Yeah,
Because
and
of the James Reese comment.
your printer, whatchamacallits, motors, your all that shit. All right, I gotta run. I'm
night,
serious
gents.
about like giving this shit away. I'll seriously. What else will I give away? I'll pick like a random knife or something, guys. The way we need to beat the algorithm is by comments. Like all this shit. Comment after the live stream is done. Go back and comment. Share it, even if you share it to yourself. I'll go through. I'll take everyone who commented. I'll put you in random.com and then select one. I'll even do a video of it so you know I'm doing it, and then I'll send you a signed box of ammo. I may even sign it to like Doug and Light and everyone. We'll sign a shitty seal case, 20 rounds, and a shitty chem light. But you know, just to be funny, like, because it's hilarious. But seriously, like, comment, subscribe, share. 60% of you guys aren't subbed to us, which is fucking crazy. Like, how do you even get the notification?
They're just the agents that are assigned to watch us.
That's right. At
No,
least
they probably
Hey.
some of this stuff stays up there.
tell
I've
your
got
station chief to subscribe to us. Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Dark. I just want to let everybody know this is not rigged, but thank you so much for that signed box of ammo.
Oh yeah. Did I give you?
No.
Did I
If
do?
Dark is saying that, he's gonna hook you all up.
Hey, I'll tell you. Do I send some dope ass care packages? Yeah, I sent like a dope ass care package.
That'd be a good incentive for your viewership. Is that so many polls you get you can donate something for the subscribers or something, you know?
You know what? I'll do that. So I'll do it. I'll do a care package, and I'll include these things, and you may even get something signed from Doug.
You can allow a PO box for people to donate something to give to the subs, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I've done a PO
If
box and it
people can
works.
come together,
Hell yeah.
we can make an awesome care package to go out to one person. Everybody donates a little something here or there. whether it's a gag gift or it's something usable, it is what it is. Just obviously don't be a dick.
Yeah. Or even like I picked this up at Wally World. My last one went to TSA. This is the cricket with the little hammering, and it's beautiful, man.
Can you flick that again for me one more time?
Yeah, man.
Had that flick.
So it's got the little back joint. It's just a manual knife, but it's got a nice. This shit though, I got this.
I like how the click is delayed. That's some sweet shit.
I know, right? The Kershaw.
I'm actually a big fan of fixed blades, dude. I just carry a fucking fishing knife.
Hell yeah.
It's a made in Finland. It's a fishing knife. I keep it in my pocket so when I walk through the woods, it don't snag on shit. And if I need to use it, all I got to do is just.
Oh, bro.
Shut up, black cat! You ain't going outside.
I love my fixed blades, man. I just found out the fixed blade that I've been carrying is illegal in my state, and I was like, ooh. I've been carrying it like a clinch pick for the last like 4 years, and have had several run-ins with law enforcement. Oh shit, I gotta go. All right, hey, you guys are the shit. Thank you, all y'all, for engaging. Thank you to the audience. Please go through, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you all. Appreciate y'all.
Good night.
3
everybody.
hours. Goddamn, y'all are the shit. Love y'all.
Be safe, y'all.
Peace.
Night.
And be dangerous.
Later, dude.